the two managers have to say.
And Darrell, with all the emotion and controversy around the World Series, especially that last game last night, I think it's been a World Series that's going to go down in history as one of the greatest of all time. Sparky, what do you think?
Well, it has to be to me, Tony. It's been the way I hurt last night. I was telling Darrell I felt like I was in an axe fight and finished second after the ball game, so I've had a lot of pressure on it as far as myself last night in that ball game, but I think this is going to be a great finish, and I think we'll have the greatest viewing audience we've ever had, and the Red Sox people have been great to us, and I think we've been the same to them, and we're not looking for no slams. I don't know if we're going to have a winner when it's all over.
Darrell, it's a shame. Somebody's got to be a loser, and after last night's game, I don't know if 7 will be an anticlimax, but it's almost a shame that one of you two guys in your teams will have to lose a World Series in 1975.
Well, Tony, first of all, we well know that there has to be a loser and a winner. They'll keep playing until one is determined. There's one thing about it, Tony. I think a break here and there is going to decide these things. Either team could have won last night as they could have 3 or 4 of the other ball games. And it's just one of those things. It's a rub of the green. It's a bounce of the ball. It's been great. And I think it's been great for our ball club and Sparky's ball club that we could entertain so many people, and they like the way we play the game of baseball.
Sparky, Don Gullett will be the same Don Gullett was in Cincinnati or the first time in Fenway?
Well, I hope the way it was in Cincinnati, but of course, like I think what Darrell said, a few breaks tonight I think going to change the whole ball game. If one of his guys hits one out with a couple men on, or one of our guys does, or a boot. But whatever it is, I don't care if it's an error or what, I'm forgetting about it, because to me, no player on my club or Darrell's club is going to take any blame when we went down to 7 games. It's been great for all of us.
Sparky Anderson, Darrell Johnson, our thanks. 2 men who have conducted themselves well, managing, and their department with the press and everybody else been just great throughout this series.
An amazing interview. I tell you, you want to look on both of them and see if that good housekeeping seal isn't stamped somewhere. Really something to listen to the two managers as they discuss this 7th game. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. They realize that. It's for big money, it's for big prestige.
Welcome to Fenway Park.
But an error, a boot, whatever they want to call it, we're here in the 7th game, and none of my players are going to take a rap. That Sparky Anderson is an amazing guy. Marty, you've been with him all summer.
He really is, Joe. I'll tell you, the guy never seems to change, and I think the thing that probably deep down inside hurts him more than anything is a rap that he takes from many people who say that here's a manager who's never won a big one. Well, he's won a lot of big ball games. He's been in 3 World Series. He's won division title after division title. I don't know what more he has to do except to win a World Series to get out from underneath a cloud that certainly is looked upon by other people as that, certainly not by Sparky Anderson and Bob Howsam and the players who play under him, because I think, in my estimation, I think he's the most underrated manager in baseball. Sure, he's got great talent, but how many managers have you seen mess up great talent? It can be done. And I would love to see Sparky Anderson be able to win this World Series just for himself, and I guess that's the Cincinnati Reds coming out in me for one of the few times in this World Series, but that's the way I feel about it.
Can't travel with the ball club all year and not have it come out, Marty, but I tell you, people that say you can't win that big one, you don't get into a World Series by not winning the big one. The Cincinnati Reds are being introduced. Rose will lead off at third base. Morgan bats second. He'll be playing second base. Johnny Bench is behind the plate. Batting fourth, Tony Perez. George Foster's in left field. Concepcion's at short. Griffey is in right field. Batting eighth, it'll be Cesar Geronimo. And the pitcher is Don Gullett.
Batting eighth in center field, number 20, Cesar
Cesar
Geronimo.
Geronimo being introduced now, and the Cincinnati Reds banners are waving behind the third base dugout. And
35,
why don't we pick up the PA announcer as he gets set to introduce the rest of the Cincinnati Reds and then the starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox.
Coaches
Of the Cincinnati Reds. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cincinnati Reds. Now for the Boston Red Sox. Here is the manager of the American League champion Boston Red Sox, Darrell Johnson. Batting first in left field, number 1, Bernie Carbo.
Batting second, playing second base, number 5, Denny Doyle. Batting third, playing first base, number 8, Karl Yastrzemski. Number 27, batting fourth, the catcher, Carlton Fisk. Batting fifth, in center field, number 19, Fred Lynn. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 6, Rico Petrocelli. Batting seventh, in right field, number 24, Dwight Evans. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 7, Rick Burleson. Batting ninth, the pitcher, warming up in the bullpen, number 37, Bill Lee. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Boston Red Sox. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Red Sox. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the color guard detail is from our own Naval Air Station in South Weymouth. Our national anthem will be presented by the Winged Victory Singers from the 43rd United States Army Airborne Infantry Division. And now, to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem.
With the playing of the national anthem, we get set for baseball, Game 7, and we will return with more World Series coverage right after this message. We're getting set as the umpires gather around home plate. We're getting set for the ceremonial first pitch. The umpires will be the same umpiring rotation as in Game 1. Art France of the American League will be behind the plate tonight. Nick Colossi of the National League will be at first base. Larry Barnett, American League, at second base. Dick Stello of the National League at third base. And George Maloney American League, and Dave Davidson in left and right field, respectively. As we look down towards the Boston Red Sox dugout, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn is getting ready. And let's pick up the PA announcement.
New England have helped in the fight against cancer in children by supporting the Jimmy Fund. May we direct your attention to the commissioner's box near the Red Sox dugout, where 10-year-old Joey Tramontana of Hull, Massachusetts, representing children from throughout the world who've been treated through the Jimmy Fund at the Sidney Farber Cancer Center of Boston, will throw out the first ball for tonight's game. Joey Tramontana of Hull, Massachusetts.
Little Joey, a left-hander, fires it to Carlton Fisk, and now the youngster who's had the thrill of a lifetime throwing out the first ball gets a double thrill as Carlton Fisk goes over, has a few words to say to the youngster. And boy, you talk about big starry eyes. I wish all of you could see Joey Tramontana of Hull, Massachusetts, a 10-year-old. Two baseballs, a box seat at the World Series. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is WNWS-FM in New York, and the World Series is brought to you in part by Michelob Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, the Red Sox have just taken the field. Bill Lee, the left-hander, walking to the mound. This is his second World Series game. He started the second game of this series here in Boston, October 12th. He pitched 8 innings. He was removed after Bench led off the ninth with a double. He allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, no decision. He walked 2, struck out 5. It's a sinker ball pitcher, and he has been the darling of the media. He has been in for all kinds of quotes. It all began when, after the series was tied at 2 apiece, they went in to get a fantastic quote, I guess, and when they said to him, well, what do you think of the series so far? He studied for a minute and then said, well, tied. And with that, everybody knew that they really had something on their hands. Bill Lee, he'll be going against Don Gullett, who is the ace of the Cincinnati pitching staff. Gullett, who many thought might pitch in the 6th game, here in the 7th game. So it'll be a battle of 2 left-handers on just a perfect night for baseball here in Boston. Bill Lee warming up with Carlton Fisk, who really is the man of the hour here with that big home run of last night. Although Bernie Carbo, I tell you, who is starting in the left field, he was walking about 4 feet off the ground as he came in as a pinch hitter and hit a 3-run homer. And I'm sure you've heard all that. It'll be a game that'll be talked about for many, many, many months. It was one of the most exciting games I think I've ever seen. Catches, home runs, base hits, and what have you. But again, it's a new day, it's a new night. We're all tied, 3 games apiece. This is it, game number 7. And to bring you the play-by-play, Marty Brennaman.
Thank you very much, Joe, and hello again, everybody. Well, as Joe mentioned, it is simply an out-of-sight night here in Boston, and you talk about the eloquent Mr. Bill Lee. He was extremely upset over the fact that he was passed over in the 6th game with Louis Tion having been the Boston starter last night. And one of the more intriguing quotes that was attributed to Bill Lee was a quote that he was supposed to have said, Joe, that Darrell Johnson has been falling out of trees all season long and landing on his feet. And that's a pretty serious statement to make concerning your manager.
Well, unless your manager knows you and has a lot of understanding, and you're a pretty good pitcher, and not necessarily in that order.
Right. Pete Rose is going to lead it off for Cincinnati, as he has done all season long. Switch hitter batting right-handed. The first pitch of the decisive 7th game of the World Series is low a ball, and this game is underway. Lee pitched in the estimation of the Cincinnati Reds, the finest game they have had thrown against him in this World Series when he started the 2nd game. 1-0 pitch is over for a taken strike. In that game, he pitched 8 innings, giving up that leadoff 9th inning double to Johnny Bench before being lifted. The Reds scored 2 runs in the 9th to make a loser out of reliever Dick Drago. Here's a 1-1 to Rose, and that is swung on and missed. Now, we should point out that the type of pitcher that Bill Lee is, a left-hander, a sinker baller, is the kind of pitcher that the Reds had a great deal of problem with in 1975. He is much like the same type of pitcher as San Diego's Randy Jones is, and he beat the Reds 3 times. Here's a fly ball into shallow right. Evans coming in hard. Doyle going back, and Evans will make the catch. Rose is out on a fly ball to right field. The batter will be second baseman Joe Morgan. We set the Red Sox for you defensively. At first base, Carl Yastrzemski. The second baseman, Denny Doyle. At shortstop, Rick Burleson. And at third base, a drawn Enrico Petrocelli. In left, Bernie Carbo. In center, Freddie Lynn. And right, Dwight Evans. Again, the Boston battery. Carlton Fisk behind the plate. And left-hander Bill Lee on the mound. Morgan offensively has not had a good series. He's 5 for 23 with 2 runs batted in. Had the game-winning base hit in game number 3. Breaking ball is high and tight.
Marty, I know you obviously saw more games than I did. I never saw Joe Morgan bunt. He practiced it in spring training, yet Petrocelli is coming in close.
Call strike, Joe. In my recollection, I cannot remember Morgan bunting except possibly in a situation where he feels he's got the third baseman playing back on his heels, will try to drop one down strictly as a surprise maneuver. Certainly not in this situation with Petrocelli playing in on the grass. A 1-1 pitch is just low and inside. 2 balls and a strike on Morgan. The on-deck hitter for Cincinnati is catcher Johnny Bench. Lee, a 17-game winner during the season. And Morgan a pitch away from a walk as the count goes to 3-1. Reds came into the final 2 games of this series leading 3-2 after Gullett's super pitching effort in Cincinnati last Thursday, but the classic duel won by Boston last night. Checked his swing. No, he didn't. He got around on it. This is a full count. Morgan arguing with plate umpire Art France. So with that strike, it'll send Petrocelli back a couple of steps at third base. And Morgan now awaiting the 3-2 pitch from Bill Lee as he bids to become a one-out base runner. Freddie Lynn shading him toward right field. Morgan, of course, went the other way last night. Base hit to left. Okay, Lee looking in to get the sign from Fisk. A nod of the head. The wind, the 3-2 pitch to Morgan. Swung on and pulled foul between the bag and the coaching box at first.
I was paying particular attention to Fred Lynn as he crashed into the wall last night. When Lynn was introduced, he kind of didn't really limp out there, but he wasn't walking gingerly, and when somebody patted him on the backside, he winced. So you know that tailbone is sore.
Again, the payoff pitch. Morgan has struck out swinging on a pitch in on it. So Rose with a fly to right. Morgan has struck out 2 away, and here's Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench, the catcher.
Bench has gone 6 for 25. He's driven across 4 runs, had a home run at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Petrocelli and Burleson playing deep on the left side of the infield with Doyle shading Bench toward the second base bag. Lee working and Bench taking a ball. Now the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball to shortstop. Burleson up, throwing to Yastrzemski, and the side retire. The Reds in the first inning are up and down in order after 1/2 inning of play in the 7th game of this World Series. Cincinnati nothing with the Red Sox coming to bat. Bottom of the first inning, and for Cincinnati, it's Donald Edward Gullett, 24-year-old veteran of the Major League Wars. Gullett, of course, has been around a long time for Cincinnati, having been their first choice in the June 1969 free agent draft. His 6th season with the Cincinnati Reds, and as far as this World Series is concerned, he has lost a game 6-0 in the series opener here at Fenway to Louis Tiant, and then pitched probably the finest ball game by any starting pitcher in the series. We mentioned last Thursday night in Cincinnati when he went 8 2/3 innings, winning that game by a score of 6-2. And Joe, I think everybody knows, Sparky Anderson said it, Don Gullett, by his own admission, felt that imposing left field wall here at Fenway in his first start bothered him. The Reds, of course, are banking their entire season that it won't be that way here tonight.
I tell you, I guess it does bother you for the first time, but I think by now they realize it's been blown so far out of proportion that I'm sure they don't even realize it's there. I've never heard anything talked about, photographed so much, and nothing happened.
Bernie Carbo will lead it off for the Boston Red Sox after Bill Lee set the Reds down in order in their half of the first inning. Carbo, of course, has been up only 4 times, but all he's done is hammer 2 pinch hit home runs, one in Cincinnati, an opposite field shot, and then the biggest thrill of his life last night with the 8th inning 3-run pinch hit home run to dead center off of right-hander Raleigh Eastwood to tie the game. Carbo, a left-handed batter, a one-time teammate of Don Gullett. And as Gullett started to work, Carbo stepped out of the batter's box. Carbo will be followed by second baseman Denny Doyle and first baseman Carl Yastrzemski. Now the pitch, and it's a fastball swung on and missed.
You hear so many stories during the World Series. I read one today. I always felt that Carbo worked at hitting the ball to the opposite field, and that's what it takes. But story today I read, it said when as a youngster, they didn't have a right fielder, and if you hit the ball in right field, you were out, so he learned to hit the left field.
Missing inside, 1 ball and a strike.
Where do they get those stories?
This all adds to the lore of baseball, I guess.
Oh, I expected at the end to say, and this young man grew up to be.
Gullett 1-1 with Carbo and pitching. That pitch just does miss down low and away. 2 balls and a strike. Bernie Carbo had an outstanding first half of the 75 season for Boston. His complete season totals .257 batting average with 15 homers and 50 RBIs. Swung on and hit well to deep left center field. Foster and Geronimo looking up. It's going to be off the wall. Geronimo tries to play it on the carom, and now Carbo goes in standing up with a double. Well, Bernie Carbo has put a charge and still another baseball.
He came within inches of another home run, and I tell you, that takes a lot of work to be able to hit that ball that far in the opposite field. He's got a good, smooth stroke that way, and wall or no wall, that was extra bases in anybody's ballpark.
So the Red Sox have a runner in scoring position as Carbo doubles high off the fence in left center field. Denny Doyle will be the hitter. Pete Rose looking for the bunt is in at third base. Don Gullett sights a sign from Johnny Bench, a backward glance at second. Pitching, swung on, fly ball right field. Griffey is there. He makes the catch. Carbo bluffs a move to third and very wisely thinks better of it. Ball bounds away from Concepcion, and Johnny Bench finally picks it up as it crosses the third base foul line. So Doyle jumping on Gullett's first pitch, and he hit the ball on the button, but directly at Kenny Griffey. Here's Carl Yastrzemski. Cincinnati defensively looks like this tonight. Tony Perez at first, Morgan at second, Concepcion the shortstop at third, Pete Rose. An outfield left to right, Foster, Geronimo, Griffey, Bench catching. Scoreless in the bottom of the first. Carbo at second and out. Yastrzemski 8 for 24 in the series with 3 runs batted in. Pitch, swung on and bounced foul at first base. Don Zimmer, the Red Sox third base coach, shouting in something to Yastrzemski. Johnny Pesky is at first. On deck, Carlton Fisk. Gullett looking in. Now the stretch. And the 0-1 delivery misses outside. It's a 1 ball and 1 strike count. Outfield pretty much straight away for Yastrzemski. Geronimo maybe a step, 2 steps toward right center. Griffey deep and straight away and right. 1-1 pitch outside and low, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike.
He hasn't been able to get his breaking ball over yet. Gullett has been laboring trying to get his curveball over. His fastball he's been able to get in the strike zone. You don't know where he's trying to spot it, but his curveball, his breaking stuff, that's been a problem.
He's behind to the left-handed batter. Yastrzemski sends the next pitch in, and it was a pitch up, and he swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the advantage, if there is any, for Cincinnati playing in a 7th game away from home is that they do have their ace going. Don Gullett, a 15-game winner despite being out 2 months with a broken thumb, and he is far and away the best the Reds have to offer. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball hit to the right. Morgan will get there on the outfield grass. He throws Yastrzemski out as Carbo moves to third. So the man who chalked up win number 3 in this series for the Boston Red Sox, and he's getting a standing ovation as he comes to the plate, Carlton Fisk. You watch the replay focusing on Fisk last night, Joe, and it was a picture of extreme joy and jubilation.
I tell you, the body English that he uses, it made one of the most dramatic shots I've ever seen, because once he hit it, it looked like it was going foul, but as the players talked about it, the crosswind kept it, hit the pole, and when it did, Fisk went into a dance, and man, who can blame him?
So Don Gullett charged with the responsibility of trying to get Fisk with 2 down and a runner at third. Pitch is swung on and missed. Well, we check the flags here at Fenway. Do not have the kind of wind that we had last night. Right now, a very little breeze blowing, and what we have seems to be blowing out toward right field. And a fairly gusty wind as the game progressed last night out toward left. Tried to check his swing, but could not do it. Fisk, strike 2, and Gullett playing good old-fashioned hardball with him. This 6 for 22 in the series. Couple of homers, 4 runs batted in. He and Geronimo, the only 2 players who have had more than 1 home run. Each of them with 2. Carbo at third, 2 down, the 0-2 pitch. High and outside. Gullett goes to rubbing up the baseball as Fisk steps away from the plate. Fred Lynn is on deck for the Red Sox. Carbo, who doubled to begin the inning. Doyle lined out. Yastrzemski bounced out. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And again, Gullett comes with a fastball up. Gullett taking a little bit extra time. Every single pitch a big one. He's ready with a break-even delivery. He struck him out swinging. Foul tip that Johnny Bench hung on to, and that's all for Fisk, and that's all for the Red Sox in the first. No runs, a hit. Carbo left at third, and after 1 complete, it's the Reds nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Scoreless at the end of 1 complete as Tony Perez prepares to lead off the second inning for Cincinnati. And, well, you look at the World Series conquest, Joe, of both of these ball clubs, and it's been quite some time. The Reds have not won a World Championship since 1940, and should the Red Sox win tonight, it'll be their first World Series victory since 1918.
That is a long dry spell.
The big guns have really not produced consistently for Cincinnati in this series. Tony Perez had the 1 big game with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs last Thursday night to back the pitching of Gullett. He's had only 4 hits. First pitch is high and outside from Lee. 4 hits and 23 times up. 2 hits last night. Has 5 RBIs. Lee with a 1-0 delivery, and, well, there's that dipsy-doodle off-speed pitch. It's over for a strike call.
That's a blooper pitch, not like Rip Sewell, but it's so slow, I tell you, it almost freezes you when you're batting.
Got it over for the strike. The 1-1 on the way. Perez swings. Ground ball to the glove side of Petrocelli. He's up and throwing. 1 down. Now George Foster, as Bill Lee has retired the first 4 Cincinnati Reds.
George Foster.
You know what happens a lot of times when a fellow throws an off-speed curveball or a blooper pitch or that big lollipop that Lee threw? You go up there saying, I'm going to look for that thing until I get 2 strikes on me. And then you might see some action. And that's the danger of it, that you make one hitter look bad and the other guy starts to look for it because he thinks you've fallen in love with it. And pretty soon you're backing up third.
Here's a pitch to Foster, swung on, hit well into left field. Going back is Yastrzemski. He'll have to play it off the fence. Foster will try to come to second. Here's a throw, and he's going to be out. Carbo made the play off the wall in left field and fired a veritable strike to second base. And Foster, trying to get 2 bases out of it, is cut down as Carbo played it perfectly off that fence in left field. Coming up with the ball on 1 hop, firing quickly onto the infield. And the tag applied by the shortstop, Rick Burleson, to get the out.
Well, Bernie Carbo has been saying all along, I should be playing. I don't know why I'm not playing. And he's made it pretty loud. He's made it pretty public. And I'll tell you, you can't ask a guy to do any more than he's been doing. He's got 2 big home runs. He doubled his first time up here. The first chance he gets to make a defensive play, he guns his man down.
That he does, and the Red Sox continue to play good fundamental baseball. Denny Doyle, the man who took the throw at second base, so if you're scoring with us, scored 7-4 on the outplay of Foster. 2 down, Concepcion. He shortens up on the bat, drawing Petrocelli in, but it's ball 1. Dave Concepcion, the red shortstop, 4 hits, 24 times, a home run. 4 runs batted in, ground ball hit to the left side. Burleson digs it out. His throw is there. Took Yastrzemski off the bag, but the swipe tag and the side retired. No runs, 1 hit. In the middle of inning number 2 at Fenway Park, it's the Red Sox nothing, the Reds nothing. Okay, in the Boston second, a no-score game. Each club has had a hit, a double to lead off the first inning by Bernie Carbo. He was left at third base as Don Gullett struck out Carlton Fisk to retire the side. So Freddie Lynn will stand in for openers here in the second. Pete Rose mentioned on that home run that Lynn hit last night, figured he had to hit one sooner or later, and he certainly did, hitting one over the bullpen in right center field with 2 on in the first inning. Joe, you mentioned the collision that Lynn had with a wall in center last night. You really wonder how much it's going to affect him tonight as far as movement is concerned. Ball 1.
I got to believe that he took a lot of treatment today. I know he did. And the 7th game of the World Series, I tell you, you may be hurting, but you're not going to let your body take over.
Fouls off the next pitch. It's a ball and 1 strike. Lynn has had 7 hits and 23 at-bats with 5 runs batted in, followed by Rico Petrocelli and Dwight Evans. Lynn, a left-handed batter. Rose pulled well off the line at third base. Pitch just outside, and Don Gullett continuing to have problems getting his breaking stuff over. 2 balls with a strike. Left-hander against left-handers. Gullett has trouble picking up the sign from bench. He throws, and the heater is high. 3 balls, 1 strike to Fred Lynn. Gullett was simply overpowering against Boston in his last start of this series. He's a man who's trying to give Cincinnati the 75 World Championship. He has walked Freddie Lynn with a fastball up and in. First walk of the game.
Johnny Bench is going out to talk to his young left-hander. He seemed to rush the last pitch, and I'm sure that one of the things he's talking about is to bear down on the hitter. Now, Johnson, the manager of the Red Sox, plays a pretty conservative kind of game. He waits for the big inning, but Petrocelli can punch that ball into right field. May look for something. You certainly don't expect Lynn to be running, especially after last night, but with the Red Sox and with the Reds, you can't take anything for granted. You look for everything.
Petrocelli at the plate, Lynn at first base, leading against a holding Tony Perez. He hits a drive into deep left field. If it stays fair, it's going to be a home run, and it is a foul ball. Well, Petrocelli gave it a ride.
Boy, you wonder if that wind was blowing like last night. As you look at the flag in center field, it is limp, because he touched one off. He put a pretty good charge into that one.
Don Gullett will put that back in his memory bank and try to remember not to throw that particular pitch again to Petrocelli. Infield looking for the ground ball. Left-hander cranking it up again. Bouncing ball hit to third. That's going to be a foul ball. Rose steps across the line to field it. Strike 2. And a World Series record set here last night with 12 pitchers working, 8 for Cincinnati. But an interesting question was put to Sparky Anderson earlier tonight about how he would go in this game, Joe. I said, you're going to run him in and out as you did last night if you have to? He said, nope, I'm going to go with Don Gullett as long as I possibly can. He's the best I've got.
Well, I guarantee you if he gets in trouble, he'll run him in.
He sure will.
That cart was about to run out of gas last night.
Joe Morgan has come in from second base to talk briefly with Gullett. No score, bottom of the second. Lynn at first base with a walk. Gullett delivers, and he has struck Petrocelli out swinging. Well, Gullett has his second K of the game, and here's right fielder Dwight Evans.
I know there are a lot of heroes in this World Series, but if I had to vote right now as to who the most valuable player is, and here we are tied at 3 apiece, Dwight Evans would get my vote. I think he has contributed more than anybody on either ball club.
Well, most of the guys felt last night at Eastwick been able to do a number on Boston. He would have done it. In fact, somebody said he got the car, but it was repossessed. Here's a pitch to Evans, and he swings and misses at a breaking pitch. This young man has been truly outstanding. Defensively, he's had some big base hits for him, had a home run in Cincinnati to tie up a game in the 9th inning. Now time is called as Gullett takes a little bit too much time. He steps back off the pitching rubber, and Evans moves away from the plate. Now the check of Lynn. And the 1-strike pitch. Breaking ball is popped in the air down the left field line. Foster, Rose, Concepcion. Who's going to play it? Pete does, in foul ground. And now quickly throwing on to first, but not in time to get Lynn coming back. Two away for the shortstop and number 8 batter in the Red Sox lineup, Rick Burleson.
Marty, as Gullett takes some time talking to Morgan, I'm going to ask you something that has nothing to do with the game, except it does involve Gullett. When he delivers the pitch after he finishes, he always seems to grab his right side. Is it that a nervous habit, or is it just his pants are slipping?
No, it's a nervous habit that he has, Joe.
Because I figured that, he could call a tailor and solve the problem. He keeps grabbing it, and I worry about things like that.
Burleson looking for his 8th hit. First pitch is a fastball low. 7 hits, 21 times up for Burleson. A couple of runs batted in. Lynn got the walk to begin the inning. Petrocelli has struck out. Evans has popped out. There goes Lynn. Ball is hit to right field. Griffey moving toward the line. Back a few steps. He's got it. And the side retired. Boston second. Statistically no runs, no hits. 1 man is left. And after 2 complete, the Reds nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Nothing ball game at the end of 2, and it'll be right fielder Ken Griffey dropped down to the number 7 spot in the Cincinnati Reds batting order tonight with Bill Lee on the mound. He'll begin it, followed by Cesar Geronimo and pitcher Don Gullett. So Bill Lee will be looking at 3 straight left-handed hitters here in the 3rd inning.
Marty, just a note in passing, Lynn running the last time he was on base, even though he may be sore, and we all know he is, not affecting his style of play. He was breaking with the pitch as Burleson hit it, and I'm sure that those Reds on that third base side made a note of that.
Griffey hitting .250 in the series, 6 hits, 24 at-bats. He's driven across 4 runs and has had some big base hits for Cincinnati. And a 2-run triple here last night. Lee going to work on him. First pitch misses, ball 1. Petrocelli playing just a step on the grass at third base. Griffey with outstanding speed. Strike to him. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds have had 1 hit, a single by Foster in the 2nd. Thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Now the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and lined into right center field. That's a base hit. Freddie Lynn loping in to scoop it up as Griffey takes a big turn. Here's Cesar Geronimo. He had one right down the line last night that just stayed fair for an 8th inning home run that at the time had the Reds out in front by 3 runs. So now we'll get a chance to look at a left-hander with a pretty good move. Bill Lee picked off 11 runners in 1975. Last year picked off 15. Reds in with their 2nd hit as Griffey opens at 3rd with a single. The pitch to Geronimo, taking a ball.
He had such a good move as he came towards the plate. He had Griffey breaking back towards the bag. He really popped the shoestring on that move, I'll tell you. Griffey took 2 steps back to first base. One of the things you have to watch with Lee's move, too, is that when the catcher returns the ball, he'll get in quickly, flip to the base, and if you're loping back, you're out.
Swung on, bouncing ball by the mound. There's Doyle, there's Burleson, and there's Yastrzemski, a double play. Boston turns a bang-banger. Doyle to Burleson to Yastrzemski, and there are 2 down with nobody on.
Lee helped himself, too, although I doubt if Griffey would have been able to take anybody out at second base the way Burleson and Doyle handled the ball, but there was no chance on that ground ball because he had about a two-step lead.
So Lee can direct full attention at his opposite number, Don Gullett. Pitch, swung on and missed. Gullett in this series has had 1 hit and 6 times up. Lee's 0-1. Swing and a miss on a pitch out away from him, and quickly strike 2. Gullett, a left-handed pitcher, but a right-handed batter. 0-2 pitch. Just missing outside and low. A ball and 2 strikes. The Reds nothing, the Red Sox nothing. We're in the top of the third. This the decisive 7th game of the World Series. Gullett swings and lines one into right field. That's a base hit. We've seen some pitchers become pretty good hitters in this series. Louis Tiant. Don Gullett has his second hit. That'll keep the third going for Pete Rose up for the second time. Hit a fly ball to Evans in right field as a leadoff batter in the first inning. Shortstop Burleson talking with Lee out behind the mound. Now the plate umpire, Art France, runs out to inspect the baseball before giving it back to Lee. We've gone through the umpire rotation 1 complete time. In fact, this was the alignment in game number 1 with France behind the plate. Gullett with a jacket on down at first base, 2 away. Lee working to Rose. Strike swinging.
A pretty good indication of the move that Lee has. Jastrzemski is playing off the bag. Gullett with 2 outs is really not going to steal, yet he was breaking back towards first base as Lee came towards home. That's a pretty good move when you can do that.
And it's a type of move, Joe, that takes away a very, very vital part of the Cincinnati Reds game, and that's a running attack.
What it does, too, Marty, it cuts down about 3 steps and gives the outfielder a chance to make that play at third base on a base hit.
Lee comes set, his 0-1 pitch. Missing low, a ball and 1 strike to Rose. Rose carrying on his conversation as he has done game in and game out with Carlton Fisk. Two balls and 1 strike. Throw down to first base, but Gullett not straying too far off the bag is back easily.
Doesn't take much to pick a fellow off on a play like that. All he's got to do is put his head down and just kind of walk back and maybe, count his money or figure out his average, and he's nailed.
Rose hits a slow ground ball foul at third base. Picked up there by third base coach Alex Kramus. So Lee involved in a 2-2 count with Pete Rose. It's a guy that really enjoyed playing in that game last night. I think he told everybody within earshot of what it was, a privilege it was, really, to be a part of it. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, hit off the mound. Lee running for it, picks it up, throws to second. He got the force play on a close play. Good play by Bill Lee on a ball that hit off of him, kicked over toward third. He recovered and made a quick snap throw to Denny Doyle to get the out of Gullett in a close play at second base. So for Cincinnati, no runs, 2 hits with a man left on, and after 2.5, it's the Reds nothing, the Red Sox nothing. With Joe Garagiola, Marty Brennaman, as the Red Sox come up to hit off Don Gullett in the bottom half of the third inning. Reds have had 3 hits. The Red Sox have had 1. That leadoff double by Carbo in the first inning, and he's going to be hitting second here in the third after pitcher Bill Lee leads it off.
That play that Lee made, his follow-through is not what you would call right out of the Spalding guide. He falls towards third base, and a lot of times he's got his back turned completely to the batter, which he did on the ball that was hit by Rose. And they say that he's caught the ball and even practices it. That's what Kubek tells me, catching the ball with the glove on his back and just almost like a contortionist. And on that particular play, I must say this, he was out of position. He really was falling towards third, but he made the play.
Lee swings and fouls the first pitch to Johnny Bench's mitt. He was 0 for 3 in the second game of this series, and with a designated hitter in the American League, he has not had a hit since way back in 1972. Here's a call strike.
Remember in that game, he laid down a pretty good bunt. Bench had to make a terrific play to get him at first base.
No balls, 2 strikes. As pitcher faces pitcher, tries to lay a bunt down and pops it foul back onto the screen. So that's going to be strikeout number 3 for Gullett. He's gone through the Red Sox batting order 1 complete time, having given up a hit, 3 strikeouts and a walk, and he'll be throwing to Carbo for the second time. Joe, what is it about a player traded away from a club and more often than not he comes back to haunt his former team?
Well, I'll tell you, the first time you're traded, you're going to prove to that club that they made a mistake. Second time, you start to wonder, and the third time, you start checking the air conditioning schools.
Ball 1. I
know the first time I got traded, I'm only showing, boy. And the second time, I said, uh-oh. Third time, they announced it was going to hurt both teams. So now I started looking around a little bit.
1-0 pitch. Fastball inside to Carbo. It's ball 2. No score. The Red Sox have posed the only threat with a leadoff double by Bernie in the first inning, but he was left at third. Tried to check his swing. It's a strike anyway. 2-1.
That was an interesting matchup right there. 2 balls and no strikes. I was just wondering whether Gullett would go with his strength to try to get him with an off-speed pitch, but he fired a fastball.
Gullett working quickly again, and he's ball 3 to him on a breaking ball down and away.
2-0, 3-1. That's when you're known as a cripple shooter. This is where you got the edge on the pitcher, and when you start looking for pitches. Let's see what Gullett throws.
Fastball foul back. So 3 balls and 2 strikes on Carbo with Doyle on deck.
Boy, that's like a big commercial, Marty. Gullett is saying, if you guys are going to beat me, you're going to beat me on my fastball. I'm not going to think my way through. I'm going to throw my way through.
Well, he showed it to him time and again Thursday night. He had a good one. Carbo tries to shoot a pitch out away from him down the left side, and it's back on top of the roof, a foul ball. Had complete command of his pitches in his last start against the Red Sox, and as we pointed out here in the early innings, has had some difficulty getting his breaking pitches over.
When you got a good fastball, you can erase a lot of mistakes.
He's got a good one. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. He lost him to a walk. Gullett has just issued his second base on balls, and now Doyle, who lined to right field in the first inning.
Second base, Doyle.
Both managers appeared to be amazingly loose tonight, although it's a key to the type of feeling, inward feeling, that Sparky Anderson has when he is talking incessantly, and he did that from the time he got to the ballpark. It's a nervous man when he's talking a mile a minute, and he was doing that today. Now Doyle with Carbo at first. Fastball is high.
I got to believe they'll put a play on in this sequence right here, and ball 1 would be a pretty good time to do it. Carbo's got pretty good speed. Doyle can handle a bat. He's got a little edge on Gullett. I'd start looking for something to happen.
There's a check of Carbo. There he goes. The batter, Doyle, just throws a bat at the ball and fouls it back. So they definitely had a play on with Carbo breaking on the pitch and a foul ball from Denny Doyle.
It's a funny thing how you get a feeling like that. Not trying to explain it or anything, but Doyle just wasn't sure of the sign that Zimmer was giving him. Like he as much as said, "Are you kidding me? You're putting a play on?" He just wasn't sure of it. And Zimmer had to go through it again. It looked like a football referee down there giving signs. And if you got somebody who's got control, you just start looking.
Doyle's the only player on either team to hit safely in all 6 games. Here's a 1-1 line drive hit to right field. Here comes Carbo checking Griffey. He takes a turn. He's coming to third. The throw goes that way, and it's off the mark. So the Red Sox are knocking on the door with runners at first and third on a walk to Carbo and a base hit by Doyle. 1 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and the hitter will be Yastrzemski.
That was a good piece of hitting by Doyle. Ball was up, and he was able to pull the ball. He didn't really snap at it, but he was going in the right spot to try to hit it in the right field to get a first and third. Now they're going to have to lay back, get a double play to get out of it, and they got a tough man, Yastrzemski.
Well, Doyle has assured himself of hitting in every single game of this World Series with that base hit. Crowd getting fired up at Fenway. Yaz with a ground ball to Morgan his first time up. Here's a pitch to him. Swung on, ground ball, base hit to right field. Carbo comes in to score. Doyle takes the turn. Griffey cranking toward third. Not in time. Yastrzemski goes to second. And the Red Sox have taken a 1-0 lead. Back-to-back base hits by Denny Doyle and Carl Yastrzemski to plate the first run in the 7th game.
Not only do they get the run in, but the throw by Griffey, and Concepcion was a bit disgusted. It was not a good throw to the extent that he couldn't cut the ball off. And Yastrzemski, he may not win the 440 for you, but he knows how to run the bases. As soon as he saw the ball getting by Concepcion, he took off for second. And sure, he moves into scoring position, but more than that, he stays away from that double play situation, and now they've got to play in. Good piece of base running by Yastrzemski. He capitalized on a mistake.
Now first base is open, and apparently they're going to give Fisk an intentional walk. And the Reds have activity underway in their bullpen. Right-hander Pedro Bourbon is up and throwing, along with Jack Billingham. Carlton Fisk getting an intentional walk that will fill the bases with Red Sox and bring on Fred Lynn. Lee began the inning by striking out. Carbo got that walk, and boy, how many times a walk will come back to haunt a pitcher. Doyle hit to right. Yastrzemski single to right to get the run in. As Joe mentioned, with a throw to third, Yastrzemski went to second base, and now the bases are loaded. Larry Shepard, the Reds pitching coach, is coming to the mound to talk with Don Gullett.
I'm sure it's just a case of a pitching coach going out to break a mood. Too late to be talking strategy here, and if nothing else, you just kind of remind your pitcher as to what you talked about before the game. I would think that he'd be saying something like, this guy is a good hitter, which I guess that must be brand new news, but also that he is an aggressive hitter, and watch the first pitch. Outside of that, it's up to Gullett.
Left-handed batting Freddie Lynn, who drew a walk as a leadoff batter in the second. Now up in a run-producing situation for Boston. Doyle at third, Yastrzemski at second, Fisk at first, one out. A run is home. Gullett from the windup. Swing and a miss on a fastball high, and Bench bluffs a throw down to third. Well, Freddie Lynn was going for downtown on that first pitch. Infield laying back at double play depth. Foul ball at strike two as that foul ricochets off the mask of Bench. No balls and 2 strikes on Lynn. Jack Billingham, Pedro Bourbon, a couple of right-handers throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Don Gullett and the Reds in one whale of a jam. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And just did miss with that one. In fact, I think Johnny Bench a little bit at odds with Art France over the call. Gullett walks the backside of the mound. Now comes back on top. Glances to the runner leading at third base, Denny Doyle. Now checking in with Bench. The 1-2 pitch still in. 2 balls and 2 strikes is low and inside. Freddie Lynn looking at a tremendous amount of real estate in right center and also along the right field foul line. Gullett kicks and deals. Strike 3 is called as he broke one over on the outside edge, and Art France has Freddie Lynn right up in his face arguing on that pitch. So Don Gullett comes up with a big strikeout as he gets Fred Lynn looking, and now will be working to third baseman Petrocelli, who struck out his last time up.
One of the things to keep in mind, the last time up, Petrocelli hit the first pitch foul, almost a home run.
2 men out, a run in, bases loaded. The pitch to Petrocelli is fastball high, ball one.
Boy, they're all ready to pull that trigger. This is an aggressive hitting ball club.
Gullett coming back. 2 balls and no strikes. Inside to the right-handed batting Petrocelli. There's outfield playing Petrocelli pretty much like they played Lynn, but Geronimo well into the gap in left center. 2 balls and no strikes. That's ball 3 high.
Now you got a situation, 3 balls, no strikes. Johnny Bench going out to talk to the young left-hander, and you've got to remind him that Darrell Johnson likes to turn his hitters loose. 3 balls and no strikes, and Petrocelli's certainly capable of pulling that wall in behind third base. So he's going to have to give it that extra. And these fans, much like they holler for Tian, Louis, Louis, or hollering Rico, Rico. They turn you on, and I tell you, you can feel the electricity in this ballpark.
Sparky Anderson a bit concerned right now. Gullett needs a strike badly. Petrocelli takes it, and it is over for strike 1 call. So now it is Rip City if that pitch is in there for Petrocelli. Gullett ready. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and foul back. Well, the left-hander has gone as far as he can go with Petrocelli. 3-2, 2 down. The runners will be on the move. Doyle, Yastrzemski, Fisk, third, second, and first. And now time is called by Cincinnati shortstop Davey Concepcion as he talks with umpire Dick Stello.
He's pointing up to the press box. Something is bothering Concepcion.
Stello looking that way as Concepcion returns to his position, and well, we really have no idea what it possibly could be. Here comes a big pitch. 3-2, the runners are off. It is ball 4 high, and Gullett has walked the run in, and the Red Sox have taken the 2-0 lead. This is most definitely not the Don Gullett that we saw in Cincinnati. He has issued his 4th walk of the game, and most of his stuff here in the 3rd inning has been up. Now it's Dwight Evans who popped out to Pete Rose in the 2nd. Ball 1 high, a fastball.
Morgan's coming in to talk to him. Gullett seems to be struggling out there. His pitches, he's been wild high. Been a consistency to his wildness, and many times it's as old, I guess, first time I ever heard it was my first year in baseball. If you're wild high, you're not bending your back. You're wild low, you're going down too far. It sounds so true, it sounds so easy, but when you're in the 7th game of World Series, forget about it. Your parts just don't want to work.
1-0 pitch. That's up. Ball 2. Well, you have to feel if Evans gets on, Sparky Anderson will be making a pitching change. Bases remain loaded. 2 runs across. Evans is ball 3, and again his fastball is high.
He is struggling.
That he is. Red Sox batters perfectly well content now to make Gullett throw strikes, something that he is having a hard time doing. 3-0 pitch. He almost hit him, and he's walked another run in. It is 3-0 Boston. And they're going bananas at Fenway Park.
When you look at the statistics of Don Gullett, his control, he has averaged slightly over 3 walks per 9 innings in 1975, and it's about the same as his 1974 average, and that was the 5th base on balls given up. And we're only in the 3rd inning.
Well, apparently Sparky Anderson is going to stay with him. Rose is in from 3rd base as Burleson becomes a 9th man to hit in what has been a 3-run inning. Gullett working. Swung on and popped up outside of first base, but Perez will not have a play on it.
You know, a lot of people will be wondering, saying, he walked two guys, why would Burleson swing at the first pitch? Well, the reason you swing at the first pitch is because you think maybe that the pitcher's going to let up a little bit to throw a strike, and if he gives you a little bit of an edge, you want to stick one in the screen.
Burleson fly to right his first time. 3 runs across for Boston. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Check swing, and it's a ball. Well, it got it down, but too much so. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Red Sox have gotten their 3 runs, have had a couple of hits. Their first run scored on a base hit by Yastrzemski, and now back-to-back walks to Petrocelli and Evans to get 2 more in. The 1-1 delivery. Swung on and popped up again off to the right as Bench comes over and watches it ride back into the seats. One and 2 the count. Gullett issuing 4 walks in the inning, one of them an intentional pass to Fisk. Right now he's a lead runner at third base. Gullett ahead on Burleson. A ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Left-hander kicks and fires. That is way inside and low as Bench was momentarily handcuffed by it. Don Gullett struggling and struggling badly. Quick glance at third base. Now the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out swinging. So the inning is over for the Boston Red Sox, but they get 3 runs on 2 hits with 3 left, and after 3 complete. So Red Sox 3 and Cincinnati nothing.
Okay, Phil, I need you to set up this particular.
Top of the 4th inning, and the Boston Red Sox have taken a 3-0 lead, and will return with more World Series coverage right after station identification.
This is WNWS-FM New York. You'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial.
Well, the Reds, who had to battle back from a 3-0 deficit last night, are faced with just the same type of thing here tonight in the 7th game of this World Series, as they come to bat in the top of the 4th inning with Joe Morgan leading it off against Bill Lee, who's given 3 Reds hits. The pitch to Morgan misses inside. Joe was struck out swinging, the first time he has struck out in this World Series in the 1st inning. He bunts one, first base side. That's going to be a toughie. Lee is over, cannot make a play, and Morgan is on with a bunt single. So Morgan taking it with him down the right side, a perfectly placed bunt. Lee came off the mound as quickly as he could and tried to shovel it off the grass and on to first baseman Yastrzemski, and did not come away with anything.
I think there's one fella probably listening, watching this game, that says, well, that's the way I told you to do it, and that would be Rod Carew. Joe Morgan went to the Twins training camp. He just wanted to learn how to bunt or be a better bunter, and Carew worked with him, and I know at the All-Star game, Carew was asking about it, and Morgan said, I just don't try it. And here he is getting it started. It was a beautifully placed bunt.
So the Reds have out-hit the Red Sox 4-3, but trail 3-0. Johnny Bench, a bouncing ball to the shortstop in the 1st inning. Let's see what's on Morgan's mind here. Lee gloved hand on right knee. Has a sign from Fisk. The pitch to Bench, out away from him. Ball 1. Reds as a team have stolen 7 bases and 9 tries in this World Series. Morgan has 1 steal and was thrown out 1 time. Lee taking a little bit extra time. Now coming with a 1-0 to Bench. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
The crowd reacting because Morgan, he's not going to be going anywhere. He's trying to measure Lee. You got to give Bench a chance to hit it, and yet Lee put a move on him and broke Morgan back to first.
Now the 2-0 to Bench, and that's low. 3 balls and no strikes. So the Reds, spotting Boston 3 runs, are trying to stir something up here in the 4th inning. Here's a throw to first base. Lee quickly getting it onto Yastrzemski, but Morgan back. Tony Perez, the on-deck hitter. Pitch. That's a strike. Bench had flipped the bat away, and Art France says strike. Bench will talk about that pitch with a man behind the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike. Morgan edging further and further away from the first base bag. Lee looks that way, delivers. Bench with a fly ball hit to right center field. Freddie Lynn racing back, still on the move. He's under. He's got it. On the warning track, Morgan all the way down to second, comes quickly back onto first base. Well, Johnny Bench had the misfortune of hitting that ball to the deepest point in the ballpark, out near the 420 sign, and Lynn ran it down on the track.
You know, when a pitcher comes into a ballpark, he looks at it and he says, where is my outfield? I mean, the field that's going to get me the most outs. And here in this part of the ball, in Fenway Park, the part that Bench just hit is exactly where you want him to hit it.
Tony Perez grounded out as the leadoff batter in the second. Call strike. An activity that had been going full force in the Cincinnati bullpen with Bourbon and Billingham now quiet. Lee's throw to first base, a lob throw, and Morgan steps easily back. There goes Morgan. Pitch is taken, a strike, the throw down to second, and Morgan steals it standing up. It was an off-speed pitch to Perez taken for a strike.
He had Bill Lee so measured when Lee started towards the plate that time that Morgan had about 3 steps as Lee still had the ball. There was no way Fisk was going to get him. Surprised that he even threw the ball. It was one of those that you just want to hold the ball and say, well, I'm not going to get an error, and it lets the pitcher know, hey, if you're going to hold him on like that, you might as well get a baton because we're going to have a track meet tonight.
Second stolen base for Morgan in 3 tries in the series, but a 2-strike count on Tony Perez. Foster will be up next, and now Lee takes too much time, and Perez steps out of the box. So a base hit now of any distance will get a Reds run in, with Morgan stealing second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and popped up. Out into shallow right field. Doyle's ball to play all. Now he gives way to Evans, who makes the catch. Evans calling him off of it. 2 down in the 4th for Cincinnati. Foster will be the hitter. Lee very wisely running out to back up third base and now heading back toward the mound to take the ball from the shortstop Burleson.
You hear a lot of quotes from Bill Lee about Bill Lee, but one thing that somehow gets lost is the fella knows how to pitch, and he's well schooled in the basics. That ball was hit to right field. He didn't stand on the mound and become a spectator. He went behind third. He was backing it up. He's in the right spot at the right time. He says a lot of things. Interesting. You enjoy hearing him, but he knows how to play.
Foster hit one off the wall in the second inning, was thrown out trying to get a double. Lee looking Morgan's way at second. The pitch is swung on and popped up. Carlton Fisk coming over, and he's got room to make the play just this side of the Reds dugout, and that's the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. In the middle of the 4th, it's Boston 3 and Cincinnati nothing. Okay, as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be Bill Lee, the same man who opened up the 3rd, leading off the 4th for Boston against Don Gullett.
Marty, just a note on that pop fly that was hit by Foster. Lee was right next to Carlton Fisk, who was next to the railing, hollering, lot of room, lot of room. And I'm sure if Fisk would have had any problems at all, Lee would have been there to make the play. When you go after a ball like that, you'd like to feel that you've got plenty of room, and the only way you can feel that way is if somebody tells you. And Lee was there to do it.
Gullett works to the plate. It's ball 1 low. Gullett hoping for better things in this 4th inning. Red Sox batted around against him, walked 2 runs in. 3-0 Boston. Strike call. Pitch on the inside part of the plate at the letters. 1-1. Two balls and a strike as Gullett comes high and inside.
Marty, if people wonder what umpires do in the offseason, some of them come to the World Series. Tom Gorman is here visiting with us.
Now the 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled out of play off to the left.
trying to convince him how easy it is to umpire from up here.
It does appear to be easy at times, Joe. Gellett tries to put him away. Ground ball, base hit by Perez into right field. Well, Bill Lee is doing it all tonight. It's his first hit in better than 3 years as he singles past the outstretched glove of Perez. That's a 4th hit for Boston.
Saw him walk in the ballpark tonight. He had a book under his arm. Obviously, you got to ask him, what are you reading? You would expect some title you would recognize from a bestseller list. He's reading Pyramid Power.
That's a little bit heavy.
Oh, man. In that book, nobody gets the girl.
Here's Carbo. He's been on base twice. The ball is high. It's off the glove of bench, and going to second is Lee. And I'll tell you, things are not going at all well for Cincinnati tonight. Gellett has been charged with a wild pitch. Carbo had turned in on Gellett as if to bunt the ball, but they get Lee to second base the easy way on a wild pitch, and now Don Zimmer coming in from the third base coaching box to talk with Carbo.
Well, Carbo obviously wants to know if he's switching off with the man on at second base. A ground ball will get him there, and you got the percentage of maybe picking up the base hit. But Carbo wants to make sure that he knows what Johnson wants, and Johnson, of course, relays it through Zimmer.
Double barrel action in the Cincinnati bullpen for the second straight inning. The right-hander Bourbon, the left-hander Freddie Norman. The 1-0 to Carbo is up high, and Gellett continuing to have his problems with the control. Lee with a base hit to begin the inning, going to second on a wild pitch. Red Sox already up by 3 and trying to get another one. Swung on, ground ball up the middle. Morgan backhands, plants, and throws to get the out, but they get Lee to third. So Lee moving on to third as Carbo hits one up the middle, stabbed by Morgan, and the outplay at first base. Here's Denny Doyle. Cincinnati infield coming in. Doyle is lined to right. He has singled to right and scored a run. Doyle has tied a record done 20 times previously, hitting safely in all games of a 7-game World Series, last done by Tony Perez of Cincinnati back in 1972. Overall, Doyle with a 9-game hit streak. Check swing ground ball, backhanded by Rose. No tag on third, throw to first in time. Pete very alertly tried to see if he had a play on Lee off the bag, but didn't, and then was able to get Doyle at first base. 2 down. Carl Yastrzemski bounced out in the first, single a run across. The first run of the game in the third. Even though a 3-run lead, as we certainly saw here last night on 2 different occasions, is not a safe lead by any means, the Reds can ill afford to allow the Red Sox many more runs. Very high pop. That's going to be playable in foul ground by Tony Perez squarely in front of the Red Sox dugout. Now Morgan is over, and he squeezes it for the final out of the inning. No runs, a hit, no Cincinnati errors. The Red Sox leave a runner on, and after 4, it's Boston 3 and Cincinnati nothing. 3-0 Boston. Top of the 5th inning, Concepcion will open it up against Bill Lee, who has given the Reds 4 hits but no runs through 4 innings.
Marty, I just want to mention the name of a player who's out there warming up a pitcher, Bob Montgomery. He hasn't been in a ball game yet. I've seen him every day we've been in Boston, cheerful, ready to do anything, and I think it's important because with the World Series, sometimes a guy goes in and starts grumbling and it just upsets a few people. It takes some kind of a guy to say, hey, I'm glad to be here and hope that my team wins. And all he does, so far, at least all he's done, is just warm up pitchers. It's not easy.
Montgomery, one of 3 Red Sox players who has not seen any action in this series. In addition, Tim Blackwell, another catcher, and a reserve infielder, Bobby Heiss. While for Cincinnati, one pitcher, Clay Kirby, the backup catcher to Johnny Bench Bill Plummer, and utility infielder, a rookie Doug Flynn for Cincinnati. Concepcion 0 for 1. He bounced out to Burleson in the second.
We have just done a public service because I've been in that spot where my family wondered how I was and where I was, and we just told them.
Well, we can say that all 6 of those players are healthy and fit.
And ready to play.
Absolutely.
Just if the manager would ask them. Is that too much to ask?
Bill Lee has been tough through 4, exactly as he was in the second game of this series here. He works to Concepcion, and there's that pitch again. That lollipop change. It's over for a taken strike, and he can flat throw that pitch for a strike.
That's number 3 that he's thrown, and they're starting to catalog it, and if he develops a big romance, look out.
Check swing on a breaking ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Concepcion.
Guess I'm from the old school. What got you here is going to get you out of here.
Strike call. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'll tell you, you can't go up there looking for a walk from Lee. He walked 69 in 260 innings during the season. It's Concepcion behind, a ball and 2 strikes. Griffey on deck, and then Geronimo. Top of the 5th inning. Lee to the motion, the pitch, and that just did miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Foul ball just off the tip end of the bat, off to the right. Reds denied a world championship in 1970, beaten by Baltimore, in 72, defeated by Oakland in 7 games, and now in the 7th game against the Red Sox, and behind in the 5th inning, 3-0 tonight. Ground ball hit slowly, wide of first, backhanded by Yastrzemski, foot races on, and Concepcion wins it. Lee broke off the mound. Concepcion with good speed on a ground ball hit wide of first base. That'll go down as an infield hit.
You know, Lee was in trouble because on his follow-through, he always falls towards the third base side. And you say, well, why can't he correct it? Well, maybe he can't and still keep the same kind of effectiveness. Sure, if you were a picture book pitcher, they'd say you have to follow through, equal balance, and get over there. But you want a pitcher to throw his good stuff because he may get beat, well, maybe once every 10 years on a ball that's hit, and you can't feel it because of the follow-through. And he just got burned right there because he falls towards third, and now they're just kind of regrouping out there to take an inventory to see how he feels.
Meeting on the mound involving Carlton Fisk, Rick Burleson, and Bill Lee as Ken Griffey waits patiently off to the right of the plate to step in.
Those are always great conversations, Marty. You go out to you say, how do you feel? Pitcher looks you in the eye and he says, I'm tired, dummy. Then you go back to the plate and you say, now what's he mad at me for?
That's end of conversation, huh?
That's it. Or you'll say something like, if you had any brains, you wouldn't be a catcher in the first place. And you say, well, I'm out here to help you.
Griffey had a base hit his first time. Reds need a bunch of them. Down by 3 runs, Concepcion on with an infield hit. There's that throw to first base by Lee. A quick throw off the pitching rubber. Pitch on the way to the plate. Ball 1 is low. Well, it's all quiet again in the Cincinnati bullpen, or is it? Maybe a left-hander down there working. Freddie Norman was throwing in the last inning. Griffey swings and misses. Ball pops in and then out of Fisk Smith. 1 ball and 1 strike. Griffey's hit in the 3rd inning. His 7th World Series hit. Up to this point, it has been all Boston, even though the Reds have out hit him 5-4. Took advantage of wildness from Don Gullett in the 3rd inning. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, they're planning a gala celebration here in Boston tomorrow should the Red Sox win the World Series. Also planning much the same thing in Cincinnati should the Reds come back and take it. There's a Lee throw to first. Concepcion back. Griffey ahead. 2-1. Geronimo will be up next. Griffey, a shot off the glove and by the second baseman Doyle into right center field. A line drive that he tried to backhand on the short hop, and it got by him, and so the Reds have runners at first and third.
I just wonder if it was the same kind of a situation that he had in Cincinnati when he seemed to break when Bench hit the ball, and his explanation after the game was that he lost the ball coming out of the uniform because he was handcuffed on a ball, but the fact that he didn't get in front of it is the thing that makes you wonder about it.
Well, Doyle has been charged with an error on the play. So the Reds with an opportunity. First and third, nobody out. Geronimo, his only time up, he hit into a quick 4-6-3 double play in the third. Check swing, a foul ball. Don Gullett has moved on deck, and it appears that Jack Billingham is a man presently loosening up for Cincinnati. First error of the game goes against Boston second baseman Denny Doyle. Left-hander ready with the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, foul back again. And it's very quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Merv Rettenman looking for a bat down in the Cincinnati dugout. And quite possibly he's going to hit for Gullett. Leah had 2 strikes. Cesar Geronimo waiting the pitch. Another foul. Bat handle foul ball straight back.
It's one of those pitches that you're lucky to fight off. That was right at his hands. He'd have hit that ball with the wind blowing out. It might have gotten to the grass part in the infield.
So Bill Lee throwing nothing but strikes to Geronimo. Concepcion at third base, Griffey at first. Checking the runners. Pitch. Strike 3 is called. It was a dandy breaking ball that broke right over the heart of the plate at the belt. Merv Rettenman is going to be the pinch hitter for Don Gullett. Second strikeout for Bill Lee, and now once again a meeting on the mound. Petrocelli, Lee, and Carlton Fisk as Rettenman, a right-handed batter, will step in. Merv used as a pinch hitter twice in this series. He's 0 for 2, has struck out 1 time. I would imagine that meeting right now is, among other things, they're probably talking over what they might do should Griffey try to go to second base. Cut the throw off, let it go through with Concepcion at third. So Don Gullett's night, not a good one for the left-hander. Being lifted here in the 5th inning for Merv Rettenman. First and third with now 1 out. The pitch to Rettenman, taken just outside a ball.
Lee turns the ball over. It's not a big breaking screwball, but he turns it over enough to the right-hand batter, and he keeps it down. He gets a good sinker out of it.
1-0 pitch, swung on and foul back. Reds have stranded 2 runners on so far tonight. The Red Sox, and leading 3-0, have left a total of 6 men on, so they have kept the heat on the Reds throughout this entire game.
Marty, I'm just going from memory. I can't seem to find it, but wasn't it Rettenman who came on as a pinch hitter and Lee threw a big lollipop to him?
Right.
He fouled it out?
That was a game at Cincinnati, I believe, Joe. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, ground ball, hit to short. Oh, to second, 1, throw to first, double play, and that's the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error with 1 man left on. We are halfway through the 7th game of this World Series, and it's Boston 3 and Cincinnati 0. We are halfway through the 7th and final game of this 1975 World Series, and Sparky Anderson going to his bullpen for the first time tonight after Gullett has been lifted for a pinch hitter. And on is a right-hander, Jack Billingham. Billingham making his 3rd appearance and his 2nd in relief. Has pitched very well for the Reds in this series. having posted an earned run average of 129, of course, starting here in the second game of this series against Bill Lee, but did not get a decision. Carlton Fisk will open up the bottom of the fifth for the Red Sox, and here to carry you the rest of the way, Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Marty Brennaman. Carlton Fisk, Fred Lynn, and Rico Petrocelli. Bottom half of the fifth inning. The Boston Red Sox out in front, 3-0. This crowd standing. They've had all kinds of action. Now it's Billingham. Big right-hander, a good sinker ball pitcher. Bench fires it down to Joe Morgan, and we're all set to go. In the third inning, Gullett struck out the side, but the base on balls really got to him. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 2 base hits. It's the third game in this series, second in relief for Jack Billingham. Carlton Fisk, he was out on strikes. He walked in the third, so he's 0 for 1. Last night, a big home run. Before he got in there, he was doing some calisthenics and goes through them again right here. Infield is deep, outfield deep. First pitch by Billingham is a strike. Caught the outside corner of fastball. 1 strike to count. Curveball. Did he go around? Yes, says the plate umpire, Art France. Big breaking curveball, roundhouse curveball. And Fisk steps out of the box, starts to talk to himself. You do that. Just kind of settle yourself down. 2 strikes to count. Billingham looking for a sign, has it. On the way, big curveball is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3-0. Boston leading. We're in the bottom of the fifth. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball. Struck him out. Big breaking curveball. Fisk is out swinging. So Billingham comes on to get his first strikeout. Brings up Fred Lynn. Lynn walked in the second inning. Was called out on strikes in the third inning. What a year this young man has had. Billingham delivers. Curveball, low inside. Ball 1. Outfield straight away. Deep. Billingham ready. Fastball gets by Bench. 2 balls and no strikes now. Billingham walks off the mound. Rubs up the baseball. Tried to turn that ball loose with a little extra on it. It was way inside, way low. Now he's behind. 2 balls, no strikes. Lynn is waiting. Low, ball 3. 3-0. Lynn takes a look at Zimmer at third base. Here's the 3-0 pitch now. It's a strike. Once again, Zimmer goes through a set of signs. But man, I'll tell you, with guys like Yastrzemski and Fisk and Lynn and Petrocelli and Evans, they're hitting all the time. That bat starts to wiggle from the time it leaves the bat rack. Inside, ball 4. Lynn draws the base on balls. But keep in mind that the last time he was on, with a count of 1 ball, no strikes, Lynn broke with Petrocelli. Let's see what happens. It's 3-0 Boston, bottom of the fifth. 1 man out. Perez holding Lynn close at first. Morgan cheats towards the bag. Rhodes and Concepcion are deep. Billingham gets a sign. Big lead by Lynn. Petrocelli takes it outside, ball 1. Now you say to yourself, the last time he ran on this pitch. So you're going to be extra ready. Big lead by Lynn. Billingham has a sign. He's holding. There's a strike. Curveball had caught the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Dwight Evans, the on-deck batter. Billingham checks the runner. Holding. Hot smash on the ground, into left field. Base hit. Lynn stops at second, and Petrocelli has a base hit. That's his 8th base hit of the series. So the Red Sox have base runners at first and second, one man out, and Dwight Evans the batter. Petrocelli has had a good series.
Dwight Evans. Right field.
Joe, you've got a left-hander, Freddie Norman, again throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen.
Norman, like everybody else, was used last night. Sparky used Nolan, Norman, Billingham, Carroll, Bourbon, Eastwick, McEnany, and Darcy. Tonight, Gullett started. Billingham is on right now. Evans waits. One out. Here's the pitch. Straight away center field. Going way back is Geronimo. Back. He's got room. Makes the catch. Tagging up at second base is Lynn, and moving on over to third. Petrocelli holds at first. That ball was hit straight away center field, but Geronimo got back there in time. Although many of the bleacherites, they came towards that wall to see what was going to happen. Ball was well hit. Here is Burleson. 2 away. Burleson flied to right in the second inning, struck out in the third. Fred Lynn on at third base. Petrocelli is on at first. 2 men out. 3-0. Boston leading, bottom of the 5th. Billingham, the pitch. It's low, ball 1. Griffey is not deep at all in right field. Geronimo, straight away, not too deep. Foster can't play deep. If he does, he's in a parking lot. The 1-0 pitch. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Burleson, 7 for 21, 7 for 23, since he's 0 for 2 tonight. He flied to right and struck out. Base runners at first and third. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. Two balls and a strike. Lynn, short lead off third. Petrocelli holding close at first. The pitch. Low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Bill Lee is the next batter. He got a base hit his last time up, and even should Billingham if Burleson gets on and Lee gets up. It's a plus for the Red Sox because they open the 6th with the top of the order. This is the man that Billingham wants to get right here, Burleson. He doesn't want to lose him. 3-1 pitch. There goes Petrocelli. It's low, ball 4. The bases are loaded. That's the second walk given up by Billingham. The 7th walk given up by Cincinnati pitching. Here is Bill Lee. Lee with a standing ovation. I gotta believe that these Fenway Park fans lead the league in standing ovations. They love their Red Sox. And every chance they get, it's a standing ovation. Boy, this is politicians' delight. Bill Lee, Billingham delivers. Swings and fouls one back, and he had a pretty good cut. Boston 3, Cincinnati nothing. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Geronimo in center field shades a bit towards left center. Foster near the line. Billingham, the pitch to Lee, way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lynn at third, Petrocelli's at second. Burleson is at first, and here's the pitch. Straight away center field. Geronimo going way back, way back. He's got room and makes the catch near the warning track. He was playing shallow, and Bill Lee, he made him honest. You found out what number Geronimo was wearing. That ends a 5th inning to score. At the end of 5, Boston 3, Cincinnati nothing.
There is a co-ed school in Boston without a football team or cheerleaders. It's the John Hancock Institute, where many Hancock agents learn the latest ways to help you put your children.
This is WNWS-FM, New York. You'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial.
The top of the sixth inning. Boston 3, Cincinnati nothing. Joe Garagiola along with Marty Brennaman. Seventh game of the World Series. And it'll be Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, and Johnny Bench. Lee is ready. Here's the first pitch. It's a strike. Caught the inside corner right at the belt. One strike. Rose waiting. Takes it low, and it's 1-1. Burleson, a very active shortstop. He breaks on every pitch. On the curveball, that first one that Lee threw, you could see him break 2 steps towards the hole. On the fastball, the outside part of the plate, he was breaking towards the middle. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rose waiting. Lee shakes off a couple signs. Now he's ready. Inside. 2 balls and a strike. Rose backs out of the batter's box. Boston 3, Cincinnati nothing. Top of the sixth. Here's the 2-1 pitch now. Swung on, base hit on the ground, right field. Pete Rose gets his 9th base hit of this World Series. He is 9 for 26. Rose gets it started for Cincinnati in the top of the sixth. Brings up Joe Morgan. Morgan struck out in the first. Beat out a bunt. Stole a base in the fourth. Joe is 6 for 25 in the series. Rose the lead off first. Lee at the belt. Here's a pitch. Foul back, strike 1. One strike to count. Jim Willoughby loosening up for the Boston Red Sox out in that bullpen. Reds have been able to get the leadoff man on last 4 innings. But the scoreboard says Boston 3, Cincinnati nothing. Pitch by Lee to Joe Morgan. It is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Evans deep in right field. He robbed Morgan of extra bases. Possibly a home run last night. A tremendous catch in the clutch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Low and outside. It's ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Petrocelli's in a couple steps at third. Burleson is short. Shades towards the bag. Doyle at second. Protects the hole. Yastrzemski holding Rose close at first. 2-1 pitch now to Joe Morgan. Fly ball, right field. Evans, plenty of room. Waits for it, makes the catch. Morgan hit that ball on a trademark. And there's 1 away. Brings up Johnny Bench. Bench bounced out short the first in the first inning. Fly to center field in the fourth. 6 for 27 in this World Series. 1 home run. Lee has been turning the fastball over and keeping it to the outside part of the plate. The pitch. Curveball, line drive, left field, foul. 1 strike on Johnny Bench. He reached out to get that curveball. First time up, he hit that screwball right to the shortstop. Second time up, drove it deep into right center field as he went with the pitch. 1 strike, 1 out. Rose the lead. Lead delivers. Bouncy ball, could be a double play. Burleson to Doyle, 1 high throw right into the Red Sox dugout. Caught by Zimmer, who tried to give it to Fisk in a hurry to see if nobody could catch him, and he wouldn't get the extra base, but they got him. So it's an error for Doyle, his second error of the night. It's a routine room service double play ball by Johnny Bench. Big hop to Burleson, gave it to Doyle. Doyle threw it right into the Red Sox dugout. Zimmer caught it barehanded, and it was really kind of amusing to watch him hand it quickly like a pickpocket looking for work. Fisk, he grabbed it. I don't blame him. 2 outs, and here is Perez. Error on Denny Doyle. 3-0, Red Sox leading. We're in the 6th. Lee checks the runner. Here's the pitch. High, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Perez bounced out third to first and flied to right. He's 0 for 2. Slow pitch. There she goes. Into the screen. No doubt about it. That was that lollipop, and he threw one too many. He fell in love, and he got burned. That's the 4th time he threw it, and Perez was waiting. You could see halfway up to the plate that back leg of Perez just screwing to the ground, and you never saw so much activity when it got near the plate. So it's a 3-2 ball game on a home run by Tony Perez, his 3rd home run of this World Series. And we've got ourselves a brand new ball game. Near is Foster. Perez timed it perfectly and hit one high and far into the netting. That big lollipop curveball, that big slow curveball, and Perez just waited. Now Foster backs out as Lee was ready to throw. Out in the Red Sox bullpen, a left-hander, Roger Moret, gets up. Foster, now he backs out again. Lee starting to throw, and the fans don't like it. And Lee backs off now. We're going to have something here in a minute. Foster is setting himself. He's going to get ready. Lee is waiting. Here he comes. Low inside. And Foster just backed off. Fans love it. Lee delivers. Way high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Tony Perez has pulled the Cincinnati Reds to within 1 run on a home run. Big, high, slow curveball, and Perez sure straightened it out. Here's the pitch. Strike is called as Foster was backing out of the batter's box, but he didn't get out in time. Art France called it a strike, and the fans love it. Here's the pitch. Whoa, outside. That was a slow screwball. Lee does everything in a hurry. He waits in a hurry. He grabs the rosin bag in a hurry. He's one of those go, 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 go guys. And Foster is cool, slow. Pitch is popped up. A high fly ball. Make it that to right field. Evans is waiting. Makes the catch. Little cat and mouse. That time it was won by Bill Lee. But the Cincinnati Reds pick up 2 runs. A home run by Tony Perez. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's Boston 3, Cincinnati 2. Bottom half of the 6th inning. It'll be Bernie Carbo, Denny Doyle, and Carl Yastrzemski. Carbo, a double to open up this ball game, and he walked and scored in the 3rd, bounced out 2nd to 1st. And in addition to his hitting, made a fine play, cut down Foster. In the 2nd inning, Foster hit one off the wall. Carbo to Doyle, got him. Now it's Carbo against Jack Billingham for the first time. 3-2, Boston leading. Slow curveball outside, ball 1. You can see that ball just bend around the plate. Carbo 3 for 6 in this series. Swings and he misses, strike 1. I don't know what Carbo's chewing, but boy, he's got a big wad of something on the left side. 1-1 pitch. Tapped foul. Carbo, I don't remember him as a tobacco chewer. But I'll tell you, he's got the kind of wad going that Nellie Fox used to have going. Whatever it is, it's working for him. He's had quite a series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch by Billingham, way outside. That's kind of a squib curveball. Never did break. 2-2 the count. Nobody on, nobody out. 3-2, Boston leading. Billingham Bouncing ball by Carbo. Hits the bag. And Perez races and wins it. Looked like it was going to roll foul, and it hit the bag. Johnny Pesky has something to say, but nope, Nick Colossi says if it hits the bag, it's a fair ball. Just did get the corner of the bag. Of course, the entire bag is in fair territory. Billingham was there, but Perez wins the race. 1 out. Here's Denny Doyle. 1 for 3. Pete Rose moves in at third base. Billingham delivers. It's popped up foul, out of play. Boy, there are people all over this ballpark. The aisles are jammed. People on the roof. People outside the ballpark. Tremendous enthusiasm here in Boston. Curveball by Billingham. What kind of curveball is that, Marty?
It's a curveball that doesn't break, Joe, as you pointed out a minute ago. That's 2 times now he's thrown that pitch in the inning.
That's a fastball that's fouled off by Doyle, but that curveball he threw there, that's the kind that if the coach sees you, he says, hey, kid, you go to first base and work out. It's not even rotating. Billingham's got a good sinker. Maybe he's just showing him the bad curveball, and then when he wants to throw a strike, he'll snap one in there. There's a good breaking curveball. It's high pop fly. Coming in is Foster. Concepcion waits, watches, and Foster one-hands it. Sometimes pitchers will decoy you a lot. They'll throw you a curveball way outside, and you say, boy, I'd like to see him get that close to the plate. And you wait all day for it, and you end up 0 for 4 and still waiting. Here is Yastrzemski. Carl bounced out in the first inning. He singled and scored in the third and fouled out in the fourth. Low, ball 1. Bottom half of the 6th inning, Boston leading 3-2. Boston with 3 runs in the third, a 2-run homer by Perez, and that's been the scoring. Fastball misses, 2 balls and no strikes. Boy, when you talk about guys that can really shoot the cripple, here's one of them. 2 balls, no strikes, or 3-1. He gets his cuts when he's looking for a pitch. Now it's Billingham to Yastrzemski, and there's a strike called. Caught the outside corner. Good hitters can do that. They'll look for a pitch, but they'll look for it in the zone. If it's not there, they'll just take it. They don't necessarily say if it's a fastball I'm going to swing. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. The pitch. Swung on, a bouncing ball. Big hop to Morgan. Over to Perez, and that's it. 3 up, 3 down for the Red Sox in the 6th. We complete 6 innings. The score, Boston 3, Cincinnati 2. Top of the 7th, Boston 3, Cincinnati 2, and Rick Miller is going in to play left field for the Boston Red Sox. Miller replacing Bernie Carbo. And it'll be Dave Concepcion, Ken Griffey, and Cesar Geronimo for the Cincinnati Reds. The 3 toughest innings in baseball, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. You can multiply that many, many times when you put it in the proper perspective. The 7th game of the World Series. 9 outs. A whole season winding down. Concepcion will lead it off. Bill Lee standing in the middle of the diamond, getting the sign from his catcher. Petrocelli guards the line at third. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a hot smash. Big hop to Burleson. Long throw in time. Burleson, a big hop, 1 hop. And a fine arm gets Concepcion 1 away in the top of the 7th. Here is Griffey. Griffey singled in the 3rd inning. And then was safe on an error by the second baseman Doyle, a 1-hopper that skipped by him. Red Sox with the left-hander Moret, a right-hander Willoughby loosening up. Bill Lee leading by a run, 1 out in the 7th. High and tight, ball 1. Griffey backs away. Petrocelli continues to guard the line at third base, even though Griffey bats from the left side. Lynn straight away in center field. Evans deep and straight away in right field. Curveball high and inside, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Clay Carroll throwing for Cincinnati. Reds trail by a run. 3-2 is the score. Griffey taking plenty of time. Bill Lee delivers 2-0. Low, ball 3. 3-0 is the count. Griffey takes a good look at Alex Grammas. Backs out of the batter's box to take another look. You've got to believe he'll be taking. Lee delivers 3-0. Taking all away. Ball 4 outside. A base on balls, and that's the first walk given up by Bill Lee. Time is called now as Fisk goes out to talk to his pitcher, Yastrzemski, in a couple steps to join in on the conversation. Here comes Petrocelli. Here comes Darrell Johnson. One more guy and we can vote the shares. They all seem to just kind of do it in slow motion. First it was Fisk, and then Yastrzemski walked in, and Petrocelli, and now Johnson wants to join the meeting. Tying run is on. Johnson taking charge now as he delivers his message to Bill Lee. Art France, the plate umpire, now walking. He's going to make a change. Darrell Johnson's going to make a pitching change. Roger Moret and Willoughby have been throwing. He's indicated he wants Moret, the left-hander. It could be that what Bill Lee said to him, and Bill Lee's going to walk off and listen to the hand. So Bill Lee will be replaced, and many times when you see a quick move like that, it could be that Lee had warned him. Maybe it's a blister starting. Maybe it's a little bit of tightness in the arm, but at any rate, a lot of times good pitchers will go in to a manager and say, hey, look, I got this, whatever it is, and watch me. If I get in trouble, make a move. And sure enough, with the base on balls in the 7th, Johnson went out there and brings in his left-hander, Moret. 3-2, Boston leading. We're in the 7th inning. Jack Billingham is the on-deck batter. Geronimo is the hitter. Geronimo has gone back to the bench. He wants to talk to somebody over there. Moret came on in Cincinnati to do quite a job. Good fastball. Johnson out talking to Moret now. Fisk and Petrocelli just standing by and listening.
You know, Joe, I don't know how you look at this, but this is a little bit surprising to me, unless Bill Lee, as you pointed out, might have told Darrell Johnson something that really made it final. They thought of whether or not to leave him in there, because there have been occasions in earlier games in this series where you might have thought maybe that Johnson was going to make a pitching change, and as things turned out, he left his pitcher in there.
He goes a long way, but here he made the quick move, and it leads me to believe that Lee had said something, watch me, and if I get in trouble. He went 8 tough innings the last time. He went 6 tough innings here. All pitchers like to finish, but the smart pitchers, the good pitchers, they'll give the manager a chance. I mean, the middle of the diamond is not a place for a martyr. I mean, it's only a dummy who will hide an injury because you're trying to win the ball game. And a good pitcher will tell the manager if he's got a problem. Roger Moret, this is the 3rd game in his series, pitched an inning in the 3rd. Word has just come up that Lee has developed a blister on his left thumb. So Lee has to leave because of a blister on his left thumb. And you know he's disappointed. And I'll tell you, a blister on your thumb is a major injury. It always bugs me when I hear about the baseball players. They get a hangnail and they're out of it. If you're a knuckleball pitcher and you got a hangnail, that's a serious injury. If you're a pitcher and you got a blister, that's a serious injury. So Moret has come on to pitch now. and he'll be facing Geronimo. He just completed his warm-up tosses. 3-2, Boston leading. 1 out, top of the 7th. Griffey is on at first. Moret checks him, fires over to first base. Griffey is back. He only had about a 2-step lead. Moret getting ready once again. Lead by Griffey. Here's the pitch. High, ball 1. Geronimo shortened up as if to bunt. I don't remember seeing him bunt, Marty. Pretty good bunter?
No, Joe.
That was a decoy then. I'll say one thing about you, Marty. You give me the honest answer. You don't give me that yearbook answer. It's got potential. You give me yes or no. 1-0 pitch. Geronimo takes it low. Squared around the bunt once again. Moret not giving him a chance to bunt. Thought that might have been a strike. It's 2-0. Petrocelli near the line in a couple steps. Yastrzemski has to hold Griffey close. Griffey can fly. Geronimo waiting. Wide stance. Moret at the belt. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It's popped up. Burleson's going out in the short center field. Taking charge and makes the play. Geronimo pops to Burleson. And Billingham is being called back. Looks like Armbrister is coming in as the pinch hitter. Armbrister will get a nice round of boos here because he was the batter who bunted the ball on that controversial play. Listen when he's announced. 2 men out. They haven't announced him yet. Listen.
Number 33, Ed Armbrister.
All he did was his job. But these Red Sox fans, they love their Red Sox. Just like those Reds fans, they love their Reds, and it's been great to watch both cities. Griffey a lead. He's a threat. Pitch to Armbrister. High, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Roger Moret, big, tall, gangly guy. Griffey a big lead at first. 3-2, Boston leading 2 out in the 7th. Here's the pitch. High, ball 2. 2-0. Armbrister takes a look at Grammas at third. Moret taking a look at his outfield. Griffey a lead off first. Now we're ready. Griffey holding. The pitch is a strike. Fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Red Sox leading by 1. 3-2. We're in the 7th. Griffey edging off. Draws a throw. Little lob throw. Just kind of letting him know that I know you're there. Red ready. Griffey. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The throw is low, and a nice play by Doyle. Big lead by Griffey. Fisk hurrying to throw through a 1-hopper. And so it's a stolen base. Second stolen base in this game. Morgan stole in the 4th inning, and now Griffey in scoring position with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ed Armbrister, a pinch hitter for Jack Billingham. Armbrister is swinging a bat out of the batter's box. Moret looking in for a sign. Griffey a leadoff second. Moret taking plenty of time. Not too much time. Armbrister backs out. Armbrister says to the umpire, take a look at the ball. Now Moret bounces it in. Umpire looks at it, throws it out. That's about 30 seconds of watching grass grow. Now Moret rubs up the ball, and probably they're going to look at it again. Now the umpire's going to go out and look. There's a brand new ball. He just rubbed it up. France wants to look at it. I want to see if he throws this one out. They're checking to see if there's foreign substance on it.
Does Moret have a history of
I don't
doctoring
think
the
so,
baseball?
but in the World Series, they accuse everybody of throwing spitballs. There's a bellboy at the hotel, they said, loads them up.
Think I met him.
2 balls and 2 strikes. I made that up, and you know him?
I think so.
Moret is ready. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Griffey a lead at second base. Armbrister. Full count. Red Sox leading by a run. Moret ready. Here's the payoff pitch. High, ball 4. Armbrister draws the base on balls, and that brings up Pete Rose. Rose 1 for 3. 9 for 26. He's leading in base hits in this series. Griffey with good speed. He'll be able to score almost any kind of a hit with 2 outs. He'll be off with the crack of the bat. Moret looking in. Griffey leads off second. Armbrister off first. Rose waiting. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. We're in the 7th. Moret ready. Rose waits, delivers, swung on, line drive, base hit, center field. Lynn a big hop. Here comes Griffey. Here's the throw. It is all tied up. And going into second base is Rose. Stopping at third is Armbrister. The base on balls came home to haunt. And Rose gets his second base hit of the night. And we've got ourselves a brand new ball game. Pete Rose with 10 base hits. Now, Joe Morgan with first base open. Rose at second. Armbrister is on at third. All tied up. Rose with a big base hit. You can't get any more clutch than that. A walk, a stolen base, a single by Rose. That's the first hit this inning. Armbrister draws a base on balls, a big base on balls. Got Rose up there. Now it's Joe Morgan. Now Morgan backs out as Moret takes too much time. They switch signs, and Moret was having just a bit of a problem. I say switch with the base runner on at second base. Now he's ready. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 1. Pete Rose, who's in the game all the time. In fact, he said last night when Fisk hit the home run, he started running the dugout and then waited to see if he tagged third. He just motioned Armbrister, be alive for the short pass ball. Jump around, which he's doing. Here's the pitch by Moret. It is low and it's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Carlton Fisk is saying something to Art Franz, and Morgan is just kind of joining in, kind of grinning. Boy, if there's anything that aggravates you as a catcher is to have a batter join in on the conversation. 2-0 pitch by Moret to Morgan now. Line drive, pull foul on the right field line. Left-hander Jim Burton, Jim Willoughby, loosening up for the Red Sox. Moret backing off, rubbing up the ball. His cap falls off. All tied up, 3 apiece. Pete Rose, a big base hit here in the top of the 7th inning. Armbrister's at third, Rose at second. Morgan waiting. 2-1 pitch now by Moret. High, ball 3, way high. The on-deck batter, Johnny Bench. The way Moret has been working, if he loses Morgan, I doubt if he'll pitch the bench. 3-1 pitch. Foul straight back. Joe didn't have a good cut at that. He was a bit disgusted. So it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Morgan getting set once again. Moret gets his sign. Armbruster off third, Rose off second. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 4. The bases are loaded. The bases are loaded, and up comes Johnny Bench. And out of the dugout comes Darrell Johnson. And that may be all for Roger Moret. Johnson has already indicated he wants the right-hander, Willoughby. Morgan draws a base on balls, and the base on balls has really been a factor here at Fenway Park tonight. The Red Sox, in that 3rd inning, had 4 base on balls, and they scored 3 runs. Here in the 7th inning, a base on balls to Griffey, stolen base. Geronimo pops out, and a walk to the pinch hitter Armbruster brought up Pete Rose, who singled to center field to tie it up. Darrell Johnson waiting for his relief pitcher. Waiting for him is Carlton Fisk. They're not using the cart. I just wonder if they did run out of gas. So while we wait for the relief pitcher to arrive, we'll return with more World Series coverage after station identification.
Easy, baby, settle back. Pop the cap, bring on the great unexpected beer.
Friends are a good reason to keep any beer on hand, but especially Michelob. It's always an unexpected pleasure.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial. News FM.
Jim Willoughby is the new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He's a sinker baller. They brought him up about the middle of the season, and he really did a job for him. Throws a lot of ground balls. As the late Casey Stengel used to say, he throws you a lot of grounders. Willoughby's 3rd series game, he's pitched 5 innings. He's allowed 3 hits, 1 run. That was unearned. He was a loser in the 3rd game, the 6-5 game. They went 10 innings. Crowd just kind of sitting here, quiet. Kind of an eerie feeling. Some 35,000 people in the stands. All just kind of cool and calm. Waiting for Willoughby to finish his warm-up tosses. Armbruster's at 3rd. He's talking to Grammas. Pete Rose visiting with Burleson. And at first base, Morgan talking to his first base coach, Scherger. Rose is really something else. I tell you, great admiration for the real professional. Last night after the game, I did an interview, which was used on the Today Show this morning, with Dwight Evans. And Rose, he just flat out said, he said, we shouldn't be hitting the ball to Evans. There's always somebody who emerges as a hot player, and Evans is a hot player, and he's a good outfielder, and he can throw, and he can run. He was going on and on and on. It was great to hear. Just a tremendous respect for the ability of a Dwight Evans, and to hear the opponent say it, it just means that much more. Johnny Bench is ready. Willoughby has finished his warm-up tosses. Rose, a big lead off 2nd. Armbruster not too far off 3rd. Morgan, a big lead off 1st. Willoughby set, Bench waits. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and it's ball 1. Big, wide breaking curveball. Willoughby's bread and butter pitch is a good sinking fastball, so it'll be strength against strength. Bench, a good fastball hitter. The 1-0 pitch by Willoughby. Swung on, it's popped up. Foul territory. Will Fisk have room? He's near the stands. He's waiting. He reaches in, makes the catch. He reached into the stands and made a fine catch, so Bench is out. Fisk got near the wall and made the play. That ends the inning, but the Reds have tied it up. We go into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Cincinnati 3, Boston 3. Clay Carroll is the new pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. The Hawk. Gullett started, Billingham, and now Carroll. All tied up, 3 apiece in the bottom half of the 7th inning. It'll be Carlton Fisk, Fred Lynn, and Rico Petrocelli. Crowd had lucky 7th inning stretch. Applause, the staccato applause, and go Sox go. Listen to them as it builds. Joe Morgan out talking to Clay Carroll. Carroll, a hard-throwing right-hander. He relies on smoke. Art France checks the baseball at the request of the catcher. Carlton Fisk, or the hitter, make it. Because if Johnny Bench thought there was a spot on it, he wouldn't want a new baseball. Pitchers love to throw that dirty baseball. Little mud in the seams. They'll write the Star Spangled Banner for you when it comes up there. Here's the first pitch. Bunted down the third base line, but it's foul. Fisk, with Pete Rose back, dropped the bunt, but it rolled foul. Clay Carroll in his 5th game of this World Series, 14th lifetime. Interesting that he's topped only by Whitey Ford, 22, and Fingers with 16, Turley 15, and Ellie Reynolds 15. Carroll is second to Raleigh Fingers in relief appearances, so this is nothing new for him. 1 strike to count. Carlton Fisk waits the pitch. Bouncing ball, foul. Rose backhands it. Strike 2. Boston 3, Cincinnati 3. And last night we had one, and we got another beauty going here. The 7th game. This is it. Three runs by the Red Sox in the 3rd. 2 by Cincinnati in the 6th. Way outside a curveball. That was a 2-run homer by Perez, and 1 in the 7th, and we're all tied up. 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for Cincinnati. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for Boston. 1-2 pitch to Carlton Fisk, foul back. He had his cuts. Carroll got hit with the line drive, and boy, he had a welt on his side. I mean, it looked like a rainbow. He had so many colors. Curveball swung on and missed, and Fisk is out on strikes. That's the 3rd time that Fisk has gone down on strikes. And here is Fred Lynn. Raleigh Eastwick starting to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. Carroll looking for the sign, has it. Lynn waits. Outside, ball 1. They swing around towards right field for Fred Lynn. Lynn walked in the 2nd, out on strikes in the 3rd, walked in the 5th. Takes it inside, ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. Strike is called. A fastball caught the outside corner. Rose says something to Carroll from his 3rd base spot. 2-1 pitch now. Bouncing ball. Perez nicely to his right. Flips to Carroll in time. Beautiful play by Perez and Carroll. Tony had to roam 4 to his right. Backhanded the ball, and Carroll got there, and Tony had to lead him, much like a quarterback does when he throws that pass. And Perez led him perfectly, and Lynn, who can get down the line, was out. Perez to Carroll. So there are 2 away, and here's Rico Petrocelli. Petrocelli out on strikes in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, forced in a run, and single in the 5th. Carroll delivers. High, ball 1. Rose guarding the line. Concepcion protects the hole between short and third. Foster is deep and near the line. Geronimo is in left center field. 1-0 pitch. Fouled out of play, right side. They expect Petrocelli, and you would be expecting it, with 2 outs, nobody on, to try to get that extra base hit to put himself in the scoring position. Of course, they're rooting home run. 1-1 pitch. Didn't mean to swing. Bouncing ball. Concepcion to his left. Has it. The throw in time. Check swing. Hit the bat. Concepcion nicely to his left. In time to Perez. 3 up and 3 down for the Red Sox. We complete 7 innings. The score, it's Cincinnati 3, Boston 3. Willoughby taking his warm-up tosses as we come to the top of the 8th inning. Tony Perez, George Foster, and Dave Concepcion. Game is being held up. 2 spectators on the field now going off.
Number 24, Tony Perez.
So now we're getting set. Tony Perez hit a big 2-run homer in the 6th inning off Bill Lee. Big slow curveball. Perez timed it and dropped it into the screen in left field. Here's a pitch by Willoughby. High and tight, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Tony Perez. 5 hits in this series, 3 of them home runs. Willoughby delivers. It's popped up. Petrocelli at third base, taking charge. And makes the play. 1 out. Here is George Foster. Foster's single tried to stretch it into a double. Carbo got him on a throw to Doyle, and then he fouled out to the catcher and he flied to right. Foster looking for that comfortable spot. Willoughby waiting. Here's the pitch. Line drive, pull foul. Curveball that hung inside, and he ripped it, but he got around on it just a little bit too soon. Boy, that's the kind of curveballs. Ooh, you look for them on Christmas morning under the tree. Nice, slow breaking curveball inside. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Fastball is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jim Willoughby got away with the pitch. All tied up, 3 apiece. We're in the 8th inning. 1-1 pitch. Off the handle, bouncing ball. Burleson's going to have to hustle. 1-hand throw in time. Nice play. Oh, he had to really hustle on that one. A 1-hand pickup, and all in one motion fired it to his first baseman, Yastrzemski, in time. 2 up and 2 down, and here is Dave Concepcion. Concepcion bounced to short in the 2nd, beat out an infield hit in the 5th, and bounced out to the shortstop in the 7th. He is 1 for 3. 5 for 27 in the series. Willoughby delivers. It's outside. Ball 1, a fastball. All tied up. 3-3. Bouncing ball, big hop to Petrocelli. The long throw in time. 3 up and 3 down for Cincinnati in the top of the 8th. And this crowd comes alive as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The score, Cincinnati 3, Boston 3. In the bottom half of the 8th inning, it'll be Dwight Evans, Burleson, and the pitcher's spot. Joe Morgan has something to say to his right-hand pitcher, Clay Carroll. Checks the defense, and the right-hander's ready. The first pitch, high outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike, a fastball, a good one. Will McEnany throwing in the Cincinnati Reds bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike on Dwight Evans. Strike 2, a fastball caught the outside corner. Evans didn't think so. He backs out of the batter's box, grabs a handful of dirt, flicks it down. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th, score tied, 3 apiece. Carroll delivers. Way outside. Evans had a notion, started to swing and just drew it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rose guards the line at third. Concepcion near the bag. 2-2 pitch on the way. A pop foul. First baseline. Perez near the stands. Cannot get it. Count remains at 2-2. These 2 ball clubs have battled and battled and battled. We're now in the bottom of the 8th inning, all tied, 3 apiece. 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3, a full count. Boy, you can find many, many heroes, both sides. Outstanding for Cincinnati, I think Pete Rose. Outstanding for Boston, Evans. And he's up there now, takes it high and inside, ball 4. Draws the walk. And that brings up Burleson. And that base on balls, dangerous anytime, but especially in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Burleson flied to right, struck out and walked. Cecil Cooper's come out in the on-deck circle. Rose looking for the bunt. Burleson waiting, shortens up. Strike is called a fastball. Rose is really charging hard from third base. They'll try to make Perez field the ball. 1 strike the count. Burleson takes a look at Zimmer. As hard as Rose is charging, it could be that they'll switch off. You kind of doubt it. You would think he'd be bunting all the way. Lead by Evans at first. Carroll checks him. Here comes Rose. Burleson bunts it foul. Strike 2. Now Burleson takes a look at Zimmer. You would expect him to switch off here. Burleson can handle a bat. Maybe the ground ball to the right side. Evans is short lead at first. Perez holds him close. Carroll checks the runner at first. Delivers. Burleson takes it low, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 8th inning, all tied, 3 apiece. Griffey in right field, not too deep. Geronimo, couple steps over towards right center. Evans a lead. The pitch on the way. High, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Burleson. Burleson has 7 base hits in this World Series. Evans a lead. Carroll at the belt. 2-2 pitch on the way. Bouncing ball to Rose. He's got it to Morgan. 1 out to first. Double play. 5-4-3. Pete Rose starts an around the horn double play. And Rose, who admits that he's not very confident at third base, rather play on the artificial turf, starts a double play, and now Cecil Cooper has been announced as a pinch hitter. Cooper will bat for Willoughby. Two men out, nobody on, and Cecil Cooper is the batter. Carroll ready, delivers. Popped up along the third base line. Pete Rose is over, so is Concepcion, and Rose makes the play as Concepcion slips and falls. So Cooper on the first pitch fouls out to Pete Rose. It's really 3 up and 3 down, and we complete 8 innings of play here. It's Boston 3, Cincinnati 3.
We'll return with more World Series coverage after station identification.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial. News FM.
Joe Garagiola along with Marty Brennaman at Fenway Park as we get ready for the top of the 9th. We're all tied up. It's only fitting that these two ball clubs would go to the 9th inning of the 7th game of the World Series to try to decide a winner. They have battled hard, they have battled evenly, and how even can you get? It'll be Griffey, Geronimo, and the pitcher spot. Jim Burton, a left-hander. Marty Brennaman has gone down to the Reds locker room, and I'm sure they're prepared in the Red Sox locker room for post-game festivities, and Dick Stockton has joined me. Dick followed the Red Sox all year. Here's the first pitch by Burton. It's outside, ball one. Dick, Marty Brennaman's hands were clammy when I shook with him. How about you? How you feel?
Well, what do you think?
Clammy. In stereo, I got it. Never saw so many clammy guys. It is exciting here. Burton delivers. Griffey takes it high, and it's ball two. 2 balls and no strikes.
It's a tough spot for this left-hander to be in. 25 years old, called up to the big leagues for the first time this year in June after pitching a no-hitter in AAA. And now he's pitching here in the 9th inning of his tied game and 7th game of the World Series.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Jim Burton, the young left-hander, as Dick Stockton just pointed out, in a tough spot, finds himself behind Griffey. 3 balls, no strikes. Burton gets the sign. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. 7th game of the World Series, and what a series it has been. Left-hander gets his sign, taking plenty of time. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Foul back. Griffey had a good cut, and now has 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, Joe, I thought most people figured that it would be no contest. You know how it goes. You have so many one-run games, so many extra-inning games, and a lot of people before the game were saying, I think it's going to have to be a rout one way or another. What do we have? Same like
thing.
Always. Huh?
Right. Like last night, man. I was like you. I heard a lot of guys talking about it being a laugher. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Griffey draws the base on balls. And that'll bring up Geronimo. Geronimo hit into a double play in the 3rd inning. Was called out on strikes in the 5th and popped to the shortstop in the 7th. George Sugar had something to say to Griffey when he got to first base. Petrocelli's coming in. If Geronimo can, he'll make Yastrzemski field the ball. Petrocelli edging in the 3rd, looking for the bunt. Big lead by Griffey. Geronimo squares around, but the throw goes to first base. Petrocelli right in on top of Geronimo. Griffey, a safe lead. Burton at the belt. Here's the pitch. Geronimo bunts it to Petrocelli, who slips and falls, has to go to first to Doyle. What a play he made.
No question about it. He had nothing on that throw. He slipped and threw from a sitting down position, Joe. And I'm sure that if he hadn't slipped, he might have gone to second with it. His only play was to first, and as we said, not much on it, but in time to make the play, and now we're going to see a pinch hitter.
I think that he really had great ideas of going to second base, Dick, because he charged so hard, and he slipped, lost his footing, but just reacted so fast and flipping the ball to first base. So it looks like Dreesen has come out.
Doug Flynn was on the on-deck circle, and as Sparky has done so many times during this World Series, he has put in a substitute
on-deck batter
for the on-deck batter.
He really specializes. Dreesen swings from the left side, and he's taking a lot of time because, as Dick said, Flynn was in the on-deck circle.
Was Crowley in there 3 times last night before he finally got a chance to hit?
Walk out there and you don't know what's happening. On at second base is Griffey. He's got good speed. Dreesen, a good hitter. When they talk about Dreesen, they don't talk about his glove or his speed. Got good speed, but he's got a great bat. And he's up there now with a tie-breaking run at second base. We're in the 9th inning, all tied at 3 apiece. Lynn in center field is straight away. Burton has his sign from Fisk. Dreesen waits. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a bouncing ball. Doyle at second base. Has it over to first in time. Moving on over to third is Griffey. On the first pitch, Dreesen bounces out. Doyle to Yastrzemski, and that brings up Pete Rose. Rose with 2 base hits tonight, 10 for the series. He got the big base hit in the 7th that tied it up.
Joe, I think of all the Cincinnati batters, and they've got a lot of good batters, that Jim Burton and the Red Sox would least like to see up there right now, that would be Pete Rose.
He is the battler, and Petrocelli's going to go in and say something to his young left-hander.
You know he's going to make contact. He's not the kind of pitcher you're going to fool or strike out. He's going to hit the ball somewhere, and he may hit it on the ground, and now Darrell Johnson is out of the Red Sox dugout to confer. He has had Reggie Cleveland in the bullpen. Of course, Rose is a switch hitter, and so Darrell's going to have to make a decision here.
Fisk is out there now joining in on the conference. Johnson is looking towards his bullpen, but I'm sure that he'll just ask a few questions, and the reaction and the answers that he gets from his young left-hander will dictate his move.
I'm sure a lot of the fans who are aware of the Red Sox pitching routines during the year may wonder why, say, a Dick Drago hasn't warmed up. And I think one thing fans may not realize, and of course as a player you did, fans may not know that maybe Drago's arm may be a little sore today. Maybe he can't do what he did last night. Maybe, and this is what they discussed with the pitching coach before the game, who can we call on and who we can't call on.
Exactly. Johnson has got that from his pitching coach, Stan Williams, and he makes his moves accordingly. Burton is going to stay in the game. Pete Rose is waiting. Griffey is on at third. There are 2 outs. We're at the top of the 9th. We're tied at 3 apiece. Burton is going to work off the stretch. Here's the pitch. It is low. 1 ball, no strikes. The outfield, Lynn, the key man, straight away. Evans not too deep. Burton delivers. Curveball is low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Joe Morgan is the on-deck batter. Griffey a lead at third. Burton has a sign. 2-0 pitch on the way. Strike is called. The youngster went to a breaking ball, took something off his curveball, and Rose took it for strike 1.
Burton's a very quiet fellow. In fact, never says a word. Just keeps to himself, and you never would think he's a ball player the way he acts sometimes.
He's a methodical worker, and here he comes. Low, ball 3, tried the same pitch. This time he missed low. He's been around the plate. Now finds himself with a count of 3-1 on Pete Rose. Crowd, edge of their seats. 3-1 pitch on the way. Strike is called. Every pitch a big one. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Think this kind of experience is going to help Jim Burton next year?
Oh, boy. It is a full count. Top of the 9th, 2 outs. Griffey's at third. Burton is set at the belt. The pitch. Way high and outside. Ball 4. Rose draws the base on balls. I'm not so sure they wanted to pitch to Rose. And here comes Morgan. Morgan struck out in the 1st. He beat out a bunt in the 4th, flied to right in the 6th, and walked in the 7th. It's the 2nd walk given up by Burton, and Fisk is now talking to Burton. Burleson joins in, and obviously they're setting up a defense against the double steal. There's good speed on the bases, especially at third. Griffey, Rose not that fast a runner, but a good base runner. Knows what to do. He's going to get caught in a rundown. All tied up, 3 apiece. Morgan waiting. Burton checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
On deck for the Reds is Johnny Bench. And if Burton happens to lose Morgan, Reggie Cleveland's in the bullpen and was sure he'd come in to pitch against Bench.
Here's a pitch by Burton. Swung on, a foul tip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morgan had a good cut.
Evans, of course, is wary of Joe Morgan's deceptive power. He is playing fairly deep in right field for Joe. The outfield is straight away. Miller now moves a bit to his left.
Doyle, the second baseman, is deep. Yastrzemski behind the runner, Rose. Here's the pitch. Line drive left field. It is a foul ball. Foul ball by Joe Morgan. That ball was hit right on the nose.
You know, Joe, this is the first time I've ever heard 35,000 people hold their breath.
And that's exactly what they were doing, Dick. Dick Stockton, who broadcasts the Red Sox games sitting in, as Marty Brennaman went to the Reds clubhouse.
He has spent more time in that Reds clubhouse waiting for that champagne cork to pop, I'll tell you that.
He was there yesterday. And listen to this crowd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Burton delivers to Morgan. Swung on and pulled foul past Sugar, the first base coach. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Burton has a pretty good fastball, but that's not his best pitch. He has a good, sharp-breaking curve, and I don't think you would want a real good fastball pitcher in there against Joe Morgan. He thrives on those kind of pitchers.
Lined the fastball hard down the left field line. It's foul. It's now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Burton backs off the rubber. Rose able to get a big lead at first, but he's holding. Morgan doesn't like to see runners run when he's hitting. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Little looper, center field. In fast is Lynn. It is going to drop a base hit. Cincinnati takes the lead. Rose is trying for third. The throw is not in time. And taking second is Morgan. Morgan hit that ball off the end of the bat. Lynn could not make the play. And the Cincinnati Reds score a run in the top of the 9th. And they lead 4-3 with Johnny Bench, the batter, and base runners at second and third. Morgan at second and Rose at third.
Freddie Lynn charged as fast as he could from center field. But he had no play on it. It was just one of those seeing-eye loopers that found an opening, fell in for the base hit, and, of course, everyone's been giving the Boston Red Sox credit, as well they deserve it, for coming back in so many World Series games. But let's give the Cincinnati Reds credit. They were trailing 3-0 going into the top of the 6th inning in a deciding game of this World Series, and now they have taken the lead for the first time. Darrell Johnson has already gone out to the mound, and Reggie Cleveland will come in to pitch to Johnny Bench. But the crowd is quieted considerably here as Joe Morgan has put the Cincinnati Reds in front here in the 9th inning with a single.
That's a pitch I'm sure the youngster Burton will be thinking about for a long, long time. He made a good pitch. The ball was hit off the end of the bat, and there was nothing that Lynn could do. He charged it hard. It dropped in front of him. It's 4-3 as we wait for Reggie Cleveland. These two clubs have battled and battled. Cincinnati with a run in the top of the 9th. They've taken a 4-3 lead. Reggie Cleveland walking in from the bullpen. Burton is leaving. McEnany has come in from the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds.
Red Sox have 3 left-handed batters scheduled to hit in the last of the 9th. Rick Miller, Denny Doyle, and Carl Yastrzemski.
That's who it'll be as we look ahead to the bottom of the 9th. Cleveland taking his warm-up tosses. This has been some kind of series, Dick.
This has to be one of the greatest series of all time, Joe. We've seen exciting series that had wipeouts in the 7th game. We've seen World Series that haven't been that great until the 7th game when we've had an exciting ball game. But we've had this kind of a ball game throughout all of these games, with probably 2 games, Tiant's victory in game number 1 and Gullett's victory in game number 5, the only games in which one club really dominated.
The game last night, you couldn't figure that you could top that, and here we are in a ball game that hadn't had the dramatics, but certainly it's had the tension. Boston scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Gullett was the starting pitcher for Cincinnati. The base on balls got to him, and then Tony Perez had a 2-run homer off Lee in the 6th, and then a run in the 7th, tied it up, and here in the 9th inning, a base hit by Morgan has given the Cincinnati Reds a 4-3 lead. And now it's Reggie Cleveland against Johnny Bench. Rose is at 3rd. Joe Morgan is at 2nd base. There are 2 men out. Cleveland delivers to Bench. It's outside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Cleveland ready, delivers. Outside, ball 2. Bench is 0 for 4. He was on when Perez hit the home run in the 6th. 2 balls and no strikes. Cleveland delivers to Bench. Outside, ball 3. Bench takes a look at Grammas, and I got to believe he's got the green light. It's a 5th game for Reggie Cleveland. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, and what a cut he had. He was going for it. Johnny Bench trying to add 3 more to the Cincinnati score. Went to work on a 3-0 pitch, but missed it. Cleveland ready. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Strike is called.
That's the second time Johnny Bench was on his way to first. Last time he tossed his bat away before he was called back by home plate umpire Art France. He had already made his move to first, and now the count is full.
With 2 men out and base runners at second and third. Cleveland shakes off a sign, has the one he wants, and delivers to Johnny Bench. It's foul straight back. Crowd quiet right now. Bottom of the 9th, it'll be Miller, Doyle, and Yastrzemski for the Red Sox. They trail by 1. Cincinnati has taken a 4-3 lead.
And we might see a pinch hitter for Miller. Juan Beniquez is available. Doug Griffin, who was the top Red Sox pinch hitter this year.
McEnany looks like he's going to be the Cincinnati pitcher. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Bench. High, ball 4, the bases are loaded. And that brings up Tony Perez. Perez bounced out to the third baseman in the 2nd, fly to right in the 4th, a 2-run homer in the 6th, and then he popped to the third baseman Petrocelli in the 8th.
I think he's leading the series in runs batted in, and he hadn't had a hit for something like 14 or 15 times up before he hit those homers.
He's had 5 hits, 3 of them home runs. Cleveland delivers to Perez. Strike is called, a fastball, a good one on the outside corner. Rose at third, Morgan is at second, Bench is at first. Cleveland ready, Perez waits, the pitch. Swing and a miss, a fastball. Perez did not have a good cut at that ball. Thought it might have been outside the strike zone. He asked the plate umpire Art Franz about it, who nods, no, that was a strike. I'd have called it if you had not swung at it. Cleveland ready. The 2-strike pitch on the way high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. George Foster, the on-deck batter.
And in the Cincinnati bullpen, Freddie Norman is throwing. Red Sox bullpen is quiet.
Base is loaded. Perez waiting. Cleveland, deliberate. Ready, the pitch. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is about as far as Cleveland would like to go. He wants a decision on the 2-2 pitch. He's still got a bit of an edge. When he goes to 3-2, he loses that edge. Perez waiting. Cleveland delivers. High fly ball, right field, near the line, but Evans is there, waiting, and makes the catch. Perez flies to Evans in right field. That ends the 9th inning, but the Reds score a run, and as we go into the bottom of the 9th, it's Cincinnati 4, Boston 3.
WNWS-FM 97 brings you the world.
Jack Russell, Tokyo.
Fred Kennedy, London. John Palmer. The station that brings you the World Series puts the world at your fingertips. This is WNWS-FM 97, where you hear news and information live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you need news, we've got news for you. Keep your FM dialed at 97. WNWS-FM, New York.
In the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Will McEnany, the Cincinnati pitcher, and Juan Beniquez has come on to pinch hit for Rick Miller. Dick Stockton pointed it out, and that's the way it is. Beniquez will be the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 9th. Cincinnati 4, Boston 3. A whole season is now down to 3 outs.
And if Beniquez follows the pattern he has said most of the year, he will swing at the first pitch. He likes to swing at the first pitch, a good fastball hitter.
A first ball fastball hitter. Rose is in close at third. McEnany's ready. Here's the pitch. Started to swing, took it low, breaking ball. It's ball one. McEnany, who has done such a job for Cincinnati all year long against Juan Beniquez. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. He had a good cut at a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Art Franz dusts off the plate. Time is called now as a big balloon came onto the field. Usher grabbed it immediately and threw it into the Cincinnati bullpen. All set to go now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Beniquez waiting. A pitch by McEnany. Fly ball, right field. Griffey drifting back. Makes the play. There's 1 away. Beniquez hit the ball hard. Lines to Griffey in right field, and the batter is Denny Doyle. He's being called back, and Bob Montgomery has come out of the Red Sox dugout. Montgomery will be the pinch hitter for Doyle.
Bob Montgomery started the season behind the plate. Carlton Fisk, of course, was hurt in spring training, Joe, and he and Tim Blackwell handled most of the chores, or all of the chores, until Fisk got back. Montgomery was actually the club RBI leader in the first weeks of the season. He had 18 runs batted in the first month or so, hits to right and right center pretty well, and then wasn't used until perhaps the last few weeks of the season, and then he hit 2 home runs and started to get his batting eye again. So Montgomery may be a good hunch selection by Darrell Johnson.
It's his first appearance in this World Series, and he comes up in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Red Sox trailing by 1, 4-3, and 1 man out, nobody on. Rose guards the line at third. Foster's deep. Geronimo is straight away in center field, maybe a couple steps in right center. Perez guards the line at first. Bob Montgomery. Very personable guy. I tell you, every day he would stop in just to visit. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball. Concepcion is short. Has it. There's the throw. There are 2 away. And now it's down to Carl Yastrzemski. And if there is such a thing as poetic justice, it would be Yastrzemski.
And a standing ovation for Carl.
He has done so much for so many years. His club trailing by a run. 2 men out. Nobody on. Morgan is deep at second base. The pitch by McEnany. Outside. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. McEnany delivers to Yastrzemski. Low, ball 2. 2-0 is the count. McEnany ready. Delivers 2-0 pitch. Strike is called a fastball. Outfield is deep. They know that Yastrzemski is up there with one thing in mind. 1 swing to tie it up. McEnany ready. The pitch. Deep to center field, but it's going to be in the ballpark. Geronimo waiting, and that's it. Cincinnati defeats the Boston Red Sox by the score of 4-3. And look at those Cincinnati Reds as they greet McEnany, pile on the field. The crowd is stunned. They're standing. The youngsters trying to grab caps. They're trying to dig up the bases, but Cincinnati, the world champions.
And Joe, amidst all of the activity on the field, Johnny Bench and Don Zimmer shook hands, congratulating each other. The Cincinnati Reds have won the World Championship, and it's a title they surely deserve. They did not win in '61 when the Yankees won in 5 games. In 1970, the Orioles beat them in 5 games. The Mets upset the Reds in the '73 playoff, and then in 1974, the Cincinnati Reds were beaten by that wasn't 74, I think it was 72. The Reds were beaten by the Oakland A's in 7 games, and so this is their first World Championship since 1940, and it was an exciting World Series, and that really is an understatement. We will return with more World Series coverage after this message. Well, the baseball season is over, and it ended in grand style as the Cincinnati Reds, trailing 3-0 until the 6th inning, Came back, a 2-run homer by Johnny Bench, tied the score, and then won it as Joe Morgan looped a base hit into center field in the 9th inning, and the Cincinnati Reds have defeated the Boston Red Sox 4-3 to capture what may be rated in history as perhaps the most exciting World Series in history, and that's saying a lot, winning 4-3, and the Reds have won their first World Series since 1940.
The winner is Clay Carroll, Dick. The loser was Jim Burton, a young left-hander. Pete Rose has been named the most valuable player of the series, and the National League wins after 3 losses in a row to Oakland. And the Red Sox fans, I must say, I don't know, they're stunned. I believe they're just stunned.
They're stunned, but I'll tell you something, Joe, and of course we salute the Reds. They won 108 games. They swept the Pirates in the championship series in the National League, and then held on, played good, smart ball, took advantage of just about every Red Sox mistake. But as the Red Sox broadcaster, I have to say that I'm awfully proud of the Boston Red Sox. No one expected them to go as far as they did.
Dick, down in the clubhouse, the Cincinnati clubhouse, is Tony Kubek and Marty Brennaman with Pete Rose. Let's pick it up.
The 9th inning is not going to run for us.
Pete, I wonder, what was it feeling in the dugout when we got behind quickly 3-0?
Well, Marty, it's a never-die club, you know, and the whole series it seems like it's been the ball club that jumps out in front. It's the one that doesn't win. And it looked bad there a while because the lead was pitching real well, but these guys didn't quit, Marty. Sparky kept revving us up in there, and the extra men tonight really, really stayed on everybody's case, and it was strictly a team effort. And I couldn't be happier, and I had all the money in the world and everything. This is the happiest moment of my life. I'm scared I'm going to have a car in there. I really.
Pete, congratulations. Here's Clay Carroll, and here's a man who did an outstanding job in relief, something that, got the Cincinnati Reds ball club here. Great relief pitching, and Hawk, one of your finest hours.
Thanks, Marty. I want to say this is for all the Cincinnati people, man. They've been behind us all year, and we finally gave it to them. I'm just so happy, man. I don't know what to say.
Tremendous World Series.
Thank you, Marty. It's great. We told Cincinnati before we left that they were going to be the champs, and we're the champs. #1.
Hawk, good luck, and congratulations.
Thank you, Marty. I want some champagne.
Go get it. Here's Johnny Bench. And, John, a career that's been star-studded, every respect for you. It's got to be the biggest thrill of your career.
It is, Marty. I'm so excited. I really, and here's Bob Housen, who all made it all possible. And I'll tell you, it was just a complete effort. I've never wanted to win anything so bad, and the way we won it, I think, makes it even more exciting for us.
Could the fans in Cincinnati and Boston and around the world see better baseball in 7 games?
Not anywhere, and that's the brand of baseball that they're going to see all year when they come out and see baseball. And tonight was just one of them. Those fans are unbelievable out there. They get me going, and I'm not even on their side.
How about this Red Sox club?
Well, I think a little more than of them now. We didn't know what we were getting into, I believe, and we gave them a credit, but I think we just looked at them and said they're a young club and they can't do the things, but they sure did.
John, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Marty.
Here's a man who put this ball club together, and I know that one thing that you, Bob Housen, wanted more than anything else is a World's Championship. Here's the chairman of the board of the Cincinnati Reds, Louis Nippert, and Bob, it's got to be a tremendous thrill.
Well, this is the greatest thrill I've ever had. We've waited a long time for it, Marty, as you know, and it was a great game and a team effort by everybody. I couldn't be happier.
Things looked a little bleak out there for a while, didn't it?
That's right, but our club has always come back, as you know, this year, and they did it. They played a great club. Boston really was a tremendous club, and I take my hat off to them because they couldn't have been better. There's 2 great clubs played.
Can you pinpoint a key to this season for the Reds?
Well, I think we would have to go back to the shift that we made where we brought Pete in and Foster went to left field, which kind of gelled our club. But the key was 25 men out there doing their job, and Sparky and his coaches doing an outstanding job on the field and running it.
Bob, congratulations.
All right, some of the words from the Cincinnati Reds clubhouse, a victorious clubhouse tonight. Bob Housen, their very fine president, who has just signed a new 5-year contract, Johnny Bench, Clay Carroll, and some of the others, Pete Rose as well. The Cincinnati Reds, the big red machine, finally did it this year, and they had to hold off an underrated Boston Red Sox club, a team that was not picked higher than 3rd in preseason ratings by the experts. The Red Sox foiled everybody's preseason predictions. They held off the Baltimore Orioles, who were putting relentless pressure on the Red Sox in the final months of the year, won the division race with just a couple of days to go. Then against the 3-time world champion Oakland A's, swept Oakland, and then, of course, in this memorable World Series, a series that had everything, and believe me, they'll be talking about the 1975 World Series forever. No question about it. You talk about 1960, Mazeroski's homer that gave the Pirates a victory, and all of the great world championships of the past. This one rates with it and perhaps a little bit more. 4-3, the Cincinnati Reds, trailing 3-0 as the Red Sox were trailing last night, rally to win. Both teams were superb. Cincinnati has won the world championship. This is Dick Stockton for Joe Garagiola saying that we will return with more World Series coverage after this message.